Hello, Twitch chat. Welcome to the stream. We are here for this special October Nova Cup, and with me on the cast, it's none other than Skovtrold, dialing in directly from his secret underground bunker. Skovtrold, welcome.
Thank you. It's
Well,
amazing to be here.
it's great to have you here as well, mate. And this, by the way, is going to be the first Nova Cup starring the Honey Bear. Have you played with this new mercenary? How do you feel about this?
I've only had one game while it was active.
Yeah.
So I don't know too much about it.
Well, let me give you a bit of an introduction to the Honey Bear then, I guess, because it's an absolute AoE killer. So it's a tank mercenary, natural armor, and when it dies, it does a massive heal to all of the enemy units around it. So if you're playing any kind of AoE, flower, archer, masks, any of that kind of thing, as soon as that honey bear dies, the entire wave basically gets a full heal, especially in the early waves. So it makes it really, really tough to play those AoE openers. And I think if anybody goes for something like that in this tournament, the honey bear is going to eat them alive. So that'd be really interesting to see. We've also got some fresh faces as well, right? So, well, I say fresh faces, more like promoted faces. So in today's cast for the first game, we're going to be watching Atrocity and Johnny C, both Division 1 winners. They're not the new faces I'm talking about, but their opponents are going to be Doofus, McDooface and Wockle. So Wockle I think we've had in Division 1 maybe once or twice, but Doofus, I think this is the first time he's been in Division 1 for years. He's been on a bit of a Division 2 arc, he's won it a couple of times, and it's kind of cool to see him now up into Division 1 again, and hopefully he can, stamp his mark here. Maybe he can give Johnny and Atrocity a run for their money, although if I have to be brutally honest, I would say Atrocity and Johnny, by rights, should be stomping this match. But, it's Nova Cup, anything can happen, and I would love to see Doofus at least make them work for the win, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Atrocity and Johnny, they're just incredible players.
Oh, for sure.
It's gonna be really tough for Doofus and his partner to really pull through here.
Yeah. I mean, it goes without saying, right, that when you get to this Division 1 level, all of the players are phenomenal players, but Atrocity and Johnny C, they're a special breed, right? I think Johnny C is rank 1 at the moment with some 3.4k MMR peak, like some insane number. I think he was actually nearly 3.5k. He might even be the highest rated player of all time. Let me do a quick check on that while we're waiting for the players to join the lobby. He is. His peak rating is 3,479, which makes him the top rank 1 player of all time, which is pretty cool, right? Now, this is the Fiesta God Johnny C, the Chaos God Johnny C, last month champion Johnny C. So I'm really excited to see his performance today.
That is really incredible. To be able to pull something like that off.
Oh, for sure, man. I mean, look, he's always been a good player. I've had him rated for a while, especially as Fiesta God Johnny C. But it seems in the last couple of months, he's just gone to the next level. And I just love to see that kind of development. And you can see it with his Nova Cup results as well. So this team, Atrocity and Johnny C, Double Trouble, absolutely one to watch this month, guys. Oh, we have Wockle in the lobby. We're just waiting on Doofus. And then we should be able to get this cup underway.
I'm excited.
So, would you agree with my prediction there, Skovtrold? Like an Atrocity Johnny C, probably a 2-0 here? Or do you think Wockle and Doof might surprise us?
I mean, it's hard to see Doofus and Wockle being able to actually pull a win through. Like, they might be able to give Atrocity and Johnny C a run for their money, but to actually take a game, that's a tall order.
Yeah. No, fair enough. But I'd like to see them put up a fight at least. So even though I expect it to be a 2-0, I don't want to see Doofus and Wockle get completely obliterated because the game's just more fun when they're a bit close, right? And at the same time, with the kind of double elimination format that we have in Division 1, Doofus and Wockle will still have another chance, even if they do get destroyed by these god gamers of Double Trouble. So everything is not on the line just yet. We'll have to see. I mean, we
Yeah.
kind of. I feel like I'm at risk of writing them off already, but it is a tournament game. Anything can happen. And with that said, guys, here we go. The October Nova Cup is underway. We have Double Trouble on the left, that's Atrocity and Johnny C. And they're playing up against Get Doofled on the right, that is Doofus McDooface and Wackle himself. So without any further ado, guys, game number 1, let's go! How do you feel about these Legion spells, Scoff?
I mean, there's both. There's the offensive overwork. There's the loan to counter that, and there's Titan. That's just pure solid goodness. So I don't think we're gonna see too much happening on like 11, 12, because alone is there, kind of counteracting the overwork.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a game where the summoners are gonna have too big of an impact. All Legion spells.
Yeah, and Titan is also a fantastic defensive spell in its own right. Although I don't really see any super obvious Titan users. Like Sovereign can be okay, Yuzora can be okay, but there's nothing amazing like a Lifesteal Doppelganger or an Azaria or a Phoenix, something like that. There's none of those really standout Titan users, but it's still a great spell.
Yuzora is a solid pick because of the dodge, so it's like 25% more HP basically.
Yeah. Okay, so we have Chaos there for Doofus, going with the Whirlybird start. We have Wackle on the Kingsguard, Greed for Atrocity, and Chaos for Johnny C. So, guys, we're going to have to see who plays it better. Will it be Doofus McDooface or Chaos God Johnny C himself? Who's going to get luckier with their rolls?
And Doofus coming in with the quick history lesson. It's an interesting twist to the beginning of Nova Cup.
I'm not going to read that out on stream, guys, don't worry. Mainly because I can't.
I'll keep it locked up. I can take it then a break.
Alright. Also, we have the Halloween map in play here. Thank you, Lisk, for getting that one shipped out in time for Nova Cup. Some very spooky pumpkins and cobwebs galore. Very seasonal. Alright, none of the players felt comfortable enough to go up to 6 workers, which I guess is fair enough actually, because Doofus wouldn't be able to add anything if he did, and he is receiving a snail here, so good decision making actually for him not to go to 6 workers. And Wackle, meanwhile, I mean, he's completely fine. So receiving this snail here. This is post-income as well from Atrocity, so a good win here for Doofus actually. Adding the double Peewee, he's going to be completely fine, and that's just plus 4 gold for him. And of course, no pressure now coming out from Atrocity.
Yeah, the East team is going to be completely safe here. I mean, so was the West team with some really strong early arcane.
Oh, absolutely. They actually both went to 6 workers, Scov. So Atrocity and Johnny C very much not scared of their opponents here, pushing the workers to no send.
And of course, like when Johnny with the Chaos God rolls a Gargoyle for this wave, and he's adding a Poly, which is just phenomenal for the next couple of waves.
Oh, Poly on 4 and 5. The Seraphim obviously upgraded is insane on 5 and 6 as well. So yeah, he's looking like a really solid start to this game for sure. He does receive a 60 send though, and even with the god tier units, that should give him a little bit of a leak. Slime Mummy was full mana, of course, so he's going to be able to clear up a few more creeps.
He didn't quite get on the lizard with enough creeps, but I
He's
guess
still going to die, right? Yeah.
The lava is going to die, or the lizard is going to die, and then he's just going to hold.
Oh wait, is this just a full hold?
Maybe not. It looks like a little bit of a leak, but like he goes to 7 workers, so does Atrocity.
Oh, he's totally fine with this leak. He even gets one more Froggo there with the baby slime. He's completely happy with this. 7 workers, meanwhile, but Wackle is keeping pace, so let's not write him off just yet. Doofus, he's under pressure though. Atrocity is sending a brute here. He'll be able to add a snail as well. Doofus though, he finds that Aqua last wave, does get the gold to upgrade it to a fire elemental here, and he should be completely fine with that value.
Yeah, there's a nice synergy with the fire elemental and the Whirlybird. That should be something to help him out here. like the AOE with the Whirlybird to bring the creeps low. Just
Yeah, yeah.
execute galore.
I mean, the Fire Elemental is just so strong on wave 4
Yeah.
regardless. And just look at this. He's clearing up the entire wave very, very easily. He might leak a low HP Brute, but that's kind of neither here nor there. And meanwhile, Wockle with this Sea Serpent, he should be doing just fine as well. Yeah, there's Doofus leaking a very low HP Brute. Would have liked to kill it for the gold, of course, but completely fine to leak so small against a full send here.
Will the
Meanwhile,
Serpent get 2 attacks off before the Brute gets 2 attacks off? That's the big thing. Will
oh,
the...
it's close. And it does.
Oh, it doesn't, but it could just tank 2 hits.
Beast. Okay, now Johnny C, he's going for some aggression of his own now, sending out the Brute here into Wockle's lane. Wockle, though, he's very much staying on value here, adding the Warp Wing. He can add another bone or 2 in the split as well, and he should do pretty fine against this Brute resend, I think.
Yeah. Johnny
wait.
not looking the best here. He rolls some more Seraphim. He's just going all out offense here.
Yeah, I mean, he just kills the boss so quickly that
Yeah,
the DPS of the wave is gone. This thing lives. It can continue doing damage. His Slime Mummy gets full mana. That should be an easy hold there for Johnny. Let's check out Wockle with his Brute received. I mean, he mispositioned this Warping. Look, it tanked nothing. And as a result, he's actually going to leak decently.
We're going to see the first impactful leak here.
Yep, 42% leak there to Wockle, while he is pretty much dead on value there, 470 value for the wave, and it's all because of this positioning, guys. Warp Wing, maybe if it's 1 square or even half a square further forward, it'll tank the boss and he'll just perform so much better there.
And we have Birth Blood as well. And interesting to see, like, before that leak, the Wockle and Doofus were actually in the lead if you ask Jules, but now it's pretty much dead even.
Yeah. Well, we have some more Brutes coming out again. Atrocity and Johnny, it seems, really farming that -3 income every wave. We'll have to see if they get anything done here. Both Wockle and Doofus very much staying on value here. Doofus with 600, Wockle not far behind.
Yeah, the creeps cut away from the Warp Wing just at the last second.
Yeah.
That's
Meanwhile,
really
we have this Whirlybird tanking perfectly and surviving. Very good positioning there from the Doofmaster. And that, as a result, is going to be an easy hold for him. But Wockle, once again, 67% leak there. He's starting to struggle, I think.
Yeah, he is feeling the pressure now. And this fire is just going to go down really quickly, so those 4 Rockos.
Yeah, so that's even more king damage now.
It gets 1 of them, but 3 of them still reaches the king. It's not the massive king damage, but small details like this add up. And now Atrocity 13, Johnny C 12, and Doofus and Wockle on 11 workers. So 4 workers now ahead.
Atrocity is just absolutely going to pull really far ahead now, given an inch. Wockle has to starve him, I feel, and probably go wave 9, because actually Atrocity looks super weak on 9, right?
Atrocity has nothing for 9. I mean, he does have the Antler, but his DPS units are so weak for 9, so it's like he'll
have a good tank, but he won't be able to kill anything.
Yeah, he has to start adding Antlers on 8 basically. And Antler's not really the ideal unit for 8, but I guess he's strong enough.
Alright, so another round of Income King came out here from all of the players, it seems. I do feel like Wockle needs to start putting some pressure onto Atrocity, though, if he is not going to just completely take over the game. In fact, Wave 9 is currently looking quite dangerous for both Atrocity and Johnny, so I'd like to see a big play there from Doofus and Wockle, but actually the fact that they both full sent Income King on 7 means that their pressure is already fairly low. I'm sure they will send on 9, it's just not going to be as dangerous as it could have been.
Yeah, they chose to not send anything here, so at least they will have a bit of a send, but... I mean, Doofus on 110, Mythium, Wockle getting up to 100 now. Might just... I mean, could be some mimics coming out, and yeah, Antler going down for Atrocity here.
Hmm.
Is he gonna be able to afford 2 more?
He can
Let's
for
see.
sure add one more. I don't think he can ever add two more. But he might even go for something like a Lord of Death, right? Just to have some kind of damage for the wave. But having said that, I mean, the Sens are really not going to be that much. Like, Doofus, he can add the Mimic, which is looking really good against Johnny's board. And yeah, there we go. Okay, this Mimic could well snack into Johnny's lane. And Wackle just going for Brutes. I think that's a fine send into Atrocity. Actually, yeah, I would have loved to see a Mole as well, maybe.
Mole could have been good here, but you also just want the damage to come
Yeah,
out again.
the two Brutes is a lot more damage than one Mole, to be fair. So I can see it.
And against Adams, you want to damage.
Yeah, you just want to kill the front line as quickly as possible. That's completely fair.
But I mean, when you see the Endless, maybe even go for...
Oh, we went double Robo here at the end. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that's 180.
Oh, one Brute insta-sniped though, so that's a lot of lost value. And the second Brute is not far behind, so very good targeting there from Atrocity, minimising his potential leak here. Meanwhile, let's have a look at this Mimic. Only 8 gold so far, but there's still some food left on the table. That's 24 gold on that Mimic there for Doofus. But Atrocity, he's doing really, really well here with that early Brute snipe. Now his Robos are just stuck on the Arcane Warp Wing. He's gonna leak, but look at this. It was a 200 send, and he just barely leaks 2 Robos here. Atrocity, really good performance there from him.
Yeah. Wackle is really gonna be sad about that one. Had he kept like one less king up on 7, that would have been a Mimic in time, and then he could have added another Brute. We just made a huge difference.
Yeah. And look at this now. Okay, so Jules, the win probability is starting to go in favour of Double Trouble, and it's just a result of the economic situation. So Atrocity way ahead on workers now with 18. He's 10% more income than anybody else in the game. Actually, Johnny C's on par now as well. So Doofus and Wackle, they're just going to start falling further and further behind here because they haven't been able to keep up with that economic push that Double Trouble are doing so well here.
Yeah, they're getting like a free worker each turn now.
Yeah.
Johnny and Atrocity, and that's just gonna snowball them so far ahead.
And everybody is holding to the Income King here on 10, so nothing much to write home about. With more income coming out again from Atrocity and Johnny C, just solidifying their lead. And again, we saw another round of Income King, and again, Atrocity and Johnny C continue to pull further ahead here. Atrocity with 21 workers versus 17 for both Doofus and Wackle. So he's just increasing that lead that he earned in the early game, and that is going to serve him super well here. Now look at this income difference, Scov. He's 57 income ahead of Doofus. Wackle's even further behind. So that is, I mean, it's more than a worker now every single wave, right? That he's just generating from his income alone.
Yep. I mean, Doofus and Wackle did keep their sit on the Mythium here, so they have a bit more Mythium right now.
They do. Bit more Mythium, bit more pressure. But Atrocity and Johnny C, their king is strong now. They have max king upgrades, it looks like. So even when the send does come through from Doofus and Wackle, they're feeling pretty strong, I would guess.
Yeah, that's not going to be a big issue actually for Atrocity and Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
They might be a bit low now, but if they just, I mean, are they gonna save here? But their income is just gonna keep them.
Yeah.
Keep them in the game, keep their value on par.
They do save. And Doofus is pushing hard now. It looks like he's continuing to push workers, so he's now finally taken the lead for the side of Get Doofled. But this is, you know, it's a lag behind, and he's still dropping 87 gold to Atrocity every single wave, you know?
Yeah, that's a massive gold. They're basically gonna have to pray for a godlike 14 send, I think.
Yeah.
Because there's no way 13 is gonna work. There are these two Antlers, one of them is tightened up. The other's gonna be a white main to maximize the effect of the bonus damage reduction on the Antler on the white main.
Yep. And since wave 14 is looking likely, Johnny C, I mean, he just has that Titan Sovereign answer, and he's playing Chaos, so he'll just have a Doomsday as well, right? Or a Badger or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Atrocity is looking rather weak for 14, so that might be their saving grace.
Atrocity is looking pretty weak, yeah. His best unit is going to be this Cursed Casket, which sure is fine on wave 14, but again, he's going to really struggle to kill things, right? But look, we said the same on wave 9, and then he just pretty much full held, so...
And the thing is, once the caskets start rolling with the damage, things are going to get low, then the Hades are going to snag it up, and then we'll see, like, 2-3 summons out of the Hades.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's not going to look so terrible after all.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Void Manta is pretty good damage as well, like. And that's pure damage.
Pure damage, good arcane armor, solid on the wave, yeah. Okay, well here it comes. The wave 14 send is coming out. We've got double 4 eyes here from Doofus because he knows he needs to be able to kill this Sovereign. And there, exactly, Johnny C, Chaos God, rolling the Badger, and the Ocean Templar as well, if that's something that he wants to go for.
Jesus.
And here we go.
Yeah, there's the Ocean Templar on the Titaned up Sovereign.
Yep. Now, sure, Doofus has sent the double 4 eyes, so he may be able to kill it, but Johnny just has so much value stood in front of that Sovereign as well, right? It's going to be really tough for him to even get those 4 eyes onto the Sovereign before it's too late.
There's the Dark Mage as well to boost some attack speed on the Sovereign so it gets there quicker.
I don't think I've ever seen this before, by the way. Wackle, lane 4, Water Spirit Necromata with a Titan buff, with a Tree of Life buff. I mean, he just can't leak, right?
I mean, that's one of the best arcane tanks in the game. Just
surely
buffed up completely. Oh, and there goes the Deep Coiler.
Yeah, Deep Coiler getting killed very, very quickly. The Necromata, I can't believe it. Scovtrolled this raid boss Necromata somehow going down here on wave 14.
Even with the Void Manta.
Insane, yeah. Now, meanwhile, Atrocity making it look easy. Can he kill the Needler? It's going to be close. The Hermit does go down.
There were 2 Drakes.
That's a full hold. Now, Johnny C, he does leak, barely though. And meanwhile, both Doofus and Wackle leak significantly worse to the smaller sends from Double Trouble. And here goes their King HP because, again, they don't have the upgrades that Double Trouble do. Dropping all the way down to 59% there, and it just seems like they've been outclassed in every part of the game here. Now we've got Atrocity on 100 gold shot down, Johnny on a 50 gold shot down, but it just feels like they're so far ahead. Even Jules agrees. Scovtrolled, look at this, 91%.
More than 10 times.
Yeah.
The amount of percentage on the West team compared to East team.
Yeah, this game is absolutely spiraling out of control for Team Get Doofled. This is very, very tough for them now. Perhaps the expected result that we talked about at the start of the match, but I would have liked to see a bit more spirit from these players, perhaps.
It just spiraled out of control too quickly. Wackle, maybe a bit nervous. I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe he just felt like he had a bad roll. He did go for, is that Kingsguard? It's kind of weak, or was he Mastermind?
I think Kingsguard is actually really strong, but it just they just seem to be a little bit outclassed here. Now Wackle shifted a lot of gold here, hoping to bait a send on 16. Maybe shifted a little bit too much, goes for the 50% leak to no send. And, well, look, the bait has worked. Atrocity and Johnny C will send here. The problem is they now need to not die.
Yeah, and I don't think that Doofus and Wackle are looking too great here, honestly.
Yeah. Doofus, he upgrades his white mane now onto the gate. He has a non-upgraded Angler on that aura as well. Does drop a Pyro. And we have got a couple of death caps here for Wackle as well. So they're not looking horrendous for Wave 16. However, I'm a little bit concerned about their values, Scovtroll. We're minus 600 there for Doofus, minus 800 nearly for Wackle. And these sends coming out a pretty big.
And I guess the flowers are one of the best units for 16, no doubt about it. But on Doofus' side, we have the Dread Knight, we have the Gates, not exactly ideal units for this wave, I'd say.
Oh,
There
and
goes
the
Dread
the
Knight.
Dread Knight is instantly focused there for Doofus as well. He's built it away from the wall, and he's kind of asking for trouble there. Like, you just need to sell this Angler, man. Put your big, expensive unit in the safe spot.
Woggle baiting the send and leaking 100%.
Yeah. And Doofus leaking 139 as well, so not too far behind. Again, they do not have a fully upgraded king. They are absolutely dead here. So, the first game goes in favour of Double Trouble. Atrocity and Johnny C now 1-0 in the lead.
Doofus trying to activate the debug mode with the clear in wave 1, but
Yeah. Okay, well, Skov, we do have a 1-0 lead now in favour of Atrocity and Johnny C. Those guys taking the game with... What did we have? We had Greed and Chaos there, so they have those masterminds taken out of their pool now, of course, thanks to the Conquest format. So Doofus and Wockle, I mean, this game was kind of rough for them, right? They did manage to keep it pretty even up until around wave 8. So what was this big turning point here? Okay, they went for the massive sends on 9, remember. We had double 200 Mythium sends on wave 9 from Doofus and Wockle. Atrocity damn near held, leaking 2 Robos. And Johnny C did really well as well, leaking just a Mimic plus 4 creeps. And then after that, they were just so far ahead economically that their lead just grew and grew and grew every single wave.
I would have loved to see 4 imps against Atrocity. I think that would have made somewhat of a difference because of all the big natural tanks from the Endless.
Yeah, imps could have been pretty good for sure. But maybe his build is just better than we were giving it credit for. I don't know. Maybe it's not so much of a send diff. But if you're coaching Doofus and Wockle, what advice are you giving to your team? How do they need to mix things up now in game 2 to try and get themselves back on track?
Then Snail on 1 is a Johnny. He is gone with Chaos, so Fiesta is going to be coming up. And then just, I don't know, it's going to be difficult because how are you going to match Atrocity and Johnny C in the early game with, like, you can't just play their game with Income and King, right? Because then you're just trying to be better at them at a game that they're better at.
Yeah,
but also you can't. You have to send some Income and some King, and then like try to see if you can identify a weak wave and just go for a bit of a send there. Or maybe even like identify a weak wave, fake send into that, and then go for the next wave.
I think that's definitely more Wockle's playstyle. I think if I'm thinking about Wockle as a player on the ladder, I'm thinking very much going for the early game starves. He's a big fan of, the Ogres on 7, the Ghost Knights on 8, that sort of play. And I think that's probably what they have to try and play for, because exactly as you say, if they just try and outmatch Johnny and Atrocity in terms of their carry potential, I think that game plan's only really going to go one way, because Atrocity and Johnny are just so strong as players. So they need to try and push them off of their comfort zone. Go for these big early game plays, apply pressure, and see if you can bring the game onto your territory instead of just letting them pilot the game in a way that they're comfortable with. So we'll have to see, are they able to do that here in game number 2? Or will we, in fact, see a quick 2-0? We're about to find out. It looks like the players are in the lobby, and now the Clown has joined as well. We should be able to get game number 2 underway. Yep, it looks like everybody is here. So, are you still feeling the 2-0, Skov? Or are we cheering for Wockle and Doofus now?
We're cheering for Wockle and Doofus. I'm still feeling the 2-0.
Yeah, fair. Okay, both things can be true.
Yeah, exactly. I have a hard time seeing them. I had a hard time seeing them pulling it up before the first game, and after the first game, nothing really changed there, I have to admit.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, guys, well, we are about to find out whether or not this prediction comes true, because game number 2 is underway. Just need to pad a little bit longer, because Johnny C, while he is a Fiesta God, while he is a rank 1 gamer, he can't load for love nor money. So it's taking some time, and the padding is over. Game number 2, let's go!
And we see here, oh, people will love chaos with the pawn shop. There's also all out assault and villain.
Okay.
So more of an aggressive opportunity on 11 with the all out assault, and not the strongest defensive spells. I mean, there is some gold to be had from
Pawn shop.
pawn shop, of course, and villain is also an immediate buff to your fighter strength, but nothing compares to lone, I'd say.
Yeah, Lone or like Divine Blessing or something like that. I think
Yeah.
All Out Assault easily outmatches those two spells. I mean, really interesting to see the double Fiesta pick up here. So we've got Fiesta God Johnny C playing the mastermind that he is famous for, and we have Doofus McDooface doing the same. Both Fiesta players actually opening Whirlybird here. So the double snail from Wackle and Doofus that we do see come out, so they do correctly read the Fiesta, no doubt, but Johnny C with the Whirlybird
Ooh.
opener, he's going to be completely fine.
Okay, Atrocity is not going for the egg. I saw him stay on 2 workers, and I was like, Atrocity, are you going for the egg here?
I think like Oathbreaker into egg is such a troll play. There's no way Atrocity would go for that.
I mean, how much gold is actually lost? I mean, okay, I guess it.
Like 40 or 37, something like that.
Yeah,
Enough gold for it to be troll.
that is true.
Okay, so the double snails, they're both going to be completely fine with this, and the double king ups into Team Get Doofled. So very minor win, but a win nonetheless for Double Trouble on wave 1. And we'll have to see, because we remember from game 1, they can absolutely turn these minor advantages into a snowball towards the end of the game.
And Atrocity staying for workers, he's gonna be make sure to cover for his teammate on 2.
I mean, he kind of has to stay 4 workers, right? Because he's playing this Oathbreaker start, and with that kind of wacky YOLO roll, he's either staying 4 workers or he's building like 3 fists on wave 2, which doesn't feel good.
Yeah, I mean, the hope was that, I mean, if Doofus hadn't started Whirly and just had done a Fiesta, the 5 workers would have gotten him a snail, and he could have built the second Oathbreaker even with a 5th worker.
Yeah, right. Now we do see both of the Fiesta players doing exactly the same play, sticking with that Whirlybird, going 6 workers, receiving snails, leaking 67%. Oh, actually, Johnny C killed one more!
Yeah, Johnny, how do they always do it?
Like, Fiesta God, man. What more can you expect?
They both have it against the wall. They both have the exact same, received the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But Johnny just has his, what's this?
His Whirlybird is slightly higher.
Slightly higher, and that just makes a difference.
Yeah. Okie dokie.
I think it's these details that the highest level of play just know, because it's the same as when you saw King dance when he was at his peak. It will always be like everyone was leaking a certain amount of creeps to X build, and then King would come in with the exact same fighters and just leak half of what everyone else was leaking.
Yeah. Now Doofus, he will be going for a bit of a leak here on 3. Is it going to be a bit painful for him? He does kill one more, that's 44%, I think that's okay. Johnny C, he's holding meanwhile with 7 workers.
Yeah. And is he gonna add some ranges here for 4? Oh, he goes for a green devil.
Okay, so Johnny C, he is staying comfortably on value here, it seems. Going for the Julian school of Fiesta, perhaps. But he doesn't need to try and force the leaks, right? He's in a good spot with his workers. He may as well just play slow and steady.
Yeah, and he also knows that he's looking at Atrocity and being like, oh, okay, you have 2 Drakes, 2 Oathbreakers, and 3 Fists.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not the best for me to leak this wave.
Right, yeah, fair. Now it looks like this should be an easy hold for Doofus, despite being on pretty low value. So let's go and check some of these other lanes. Speaking of the Oathbreakers, those double Sea Dragons just barely keeping that thing alive. That's an easy hold to the 100 send here for Atrocity, and an easy hold to Johnny C as well.
And yeah, Atrocity just pushing 3 workers. She's not gonna have to build anything. I don't think Johnny feels like he has to build anything here, because all of a sudden you have Oathbreaker Drake on 4.
Yep.
Pretty damn weak. You have Oathbreaker Drake on 5, the strongest you can possibly have in this game, I think.
And meanwhile, Jules is already massively in favour of Team Double Trouble, giving them a 61% chance to win this one, and we're only on wave 5.
They are 2 workers ahead, only 7 income ahead, and a bit of Mythium behind. Not much to talk about though, but then the workers are gonna kick in. And then it's YOLO versus Cash Out. So of course, that's where the 7 income is coming from.
Sure. Now we have everybody holding, apart from Johnny C, who gets a pretty decent Fiesta there, 33%. It was only 1 snail, though. But he's turbo greeding. He's 10 workers here, and with this Pro League, plus the Fiesta Gold, he's getting giga rewarded, it seems.
I wonder... Yeah, Atrocity incomes. Is he gonna sell a Fist to go for a final form Oathbreaker? That's what I would like to see here, I think.
That would really solidify his game from here on out, and it looks like that's exactly what he's doing, yeah. I'm a little bit worried about how his aggro is going to work here on wave 6, but I'm going to trust that Atrocity knows what he's doing.
It's going to be fine, because the damage reduction kicks in, then the healing kicks in, and the Oathbreaker's damage is massive. Like,
yeah, true. Alright, let's check it out.
It's one of the highest damage units in the game once it pops off.
Oh, well, this Sea Dragon's tanking a bit much, though. Or is it? Is it just perfect? Okay, it's popped off.
And, oh, the drag just goes down, but the Oathbreaker,
yeah,
it just has, like, the damage.
Oh, it's more than enough. It's not even remotely close. We were watching the wrong lane, though, because Johnny C, he leaks 50% here to a Fiend. However, Atrocity with the Giga Breaker is going to be easily able to full cover his teammate here. And we have... well, actually, a pretty even worker situation with 10 and 11 for both pairs.
Oh, this doesn't work. Sad days when you can't see the DPS of units.
Unlucky. I think we can show the damage tracker, though, so if I check this, yeah.
The damage tracker, it did 5k damage.
It did 5k damage, yeah.
Which, for a 295 unit, is...
pretty good.
It's fairly decent. Fairly decent, I'd say. As well as... oh, I just didn't get to see how much damage it tanked.
Okay, do we have any leaks here? Wackle, very low value here on wave 7, going for a pretty aggressive play here. 12 workers and a double hunt, only receiving 1 dragon turtle, though. Still going to leak. Imagine if this was a full send here from Atrocity. Wackle would have been in some serious trouble.
Fortunately, Doofus doesn't leak this wave around.
I do like that, though. I like that Wackle and Doofus are starting to take some risks here, because like you were saying before we came into the game, Scov, if they just try to go toe-to-toe with Atrocity and Johnny C, they're going to lose that battle. But if they try to knock them off their comfort zone, that's when things start to get interesting.
Oh, but here are the income sends, and are they, I mean... I guess the Fiends into all we see here is pretty decent. Maybe it is what I talked about, actually. Well, it's not gonna work. And there's the Millennium, but it's not gonna work with a like fake send here into 9 against Wackle. I mean against Atrocity.
Yeah.
Especially when he's adding the Millennium as well. Like he has an Oathbreaker, he has a Millennium. He is cruising for 9. But the 3 Fiends and 2 Snails might be something here.
Now, Doofus, he did add the small sea serpent to his deep coiler, so he is still two-shotting those wave creeps, but his deep coiler is tanking too much too soon. It will go down. He's not going to kill very much more of the wave here. This should be a 50% leak. There it is. Meanwhile, we have a 75% leak to income for Atrocity. Okay, signs of life here for Team Doofle.
I mean, Johnny is gonna do Johnny things.
Yep.
Or is he leaking at all?
No, the warp wing is more than enough to hold this by itself. Plus, he has the whirlybird.
The warp wing is such a strong unit on 8.
Yeah.
Because they attack so fast. So like, if you have a couple of warp wings, I've seen like Cobras do 2 damage per attack.
Yeah. Gotta say though, like this was full income sent from Wockel and Doofus. Imagine if
so
they both went for full sends. These could have been some enormous leaks.
I don't think you could send much better against Atrocity, honestly. Like,
Yeah, the Fiends were really good against Atrocity, but what about like a Mimic into what we see on Johnny C's board? He would just
yeah,
never be
definitely.
able to kill it.
Yeah, that would have really been something. And I mean, we see Doofus and Woggle pulling a bit ahead here, but it's gonna take more than a slight lead to convert into an actual game.
This is classic
And
Doofus
okay,
board, by the way, when he's got like 10 whirlybirds on the field, but he sells one, so I'm proud of him.
He sold two, and I'm really glad to see that, especially since they're in a split, where they're just pretty wasted unit, I would say.
Yeah. Oh, Wockel. Has he been caught greeding here? He is going to go for a bit of a leak. It might... Actually, it looks pretty bad. That Sky Queen now by itself, does it get one more? It does, still 47%. Doofus, he is going to be able to hold, but barely. He won't cover anything in the mid.
It looks like it should have been Woggle who played the Fiesta and not
Yeah.
Doofus.
But they saved their Mythium, and here comes the counter-attack, Scotrold. Mega Sens coming out on wave 10. We've got Ghost Knight from Doofus. We've got Ogre from Wockel. Atrocity and Johnny, they could be in a spot of bother here. We do see Atrocity in his role. He has that Halo hidden. It is the perfect unit to try and counter a Ghost Knight on 10. But I really think he's lacking that tank value.
It is still a Ghost Knight, and there is the Millennium. And he's upgrading to a Lifebinder here with
He just needs tanks for that Halo to be able to do its thing. So I would probably go for 2 of the Treants here, just to try and have some more meat on the board. But he actually goes for the Doomsday. Wow.
And is the Doomsday gonna, like, he adds an up split here? Is the Doomsday gonna go on the Ghost Knight?
It will, yeah.
It is.
So this is terrible, actually. His first instinct to go for the Halo would have been much better here. Now, the Doomsday does at least kill the Ghost Knight, but he's going to leak a pretty healthy boss, plus 2 Robos here. And meanwhile, Johnny C, he's not holding either. This is going to be some serious king damage here on wave 10. Doofus and Wockel. Man, I'm impressed. Game number 1, they were DOA, but here in game number 2, they are a different team, man.
40%, 50. Just under 50. Well, that puts them inside of kill range.
Yeah, they're very much in one-shot range now. If Wockel and Doofus can find the right wave to go on, they have a decent shot of winning this one.
And they go for all out in 12, because... Once again, Atrocity is not looking 12. Johnny C is looking better 12. But if like a Ram comes out and we do see the all-out assaults.
Yeah, there's the double all-out. Now, Atrocity, he's whipped out this gun as well. So he can have that Vulcan cannon on wave 12. But like you say, a Siege Ram is still looking very good against him.
Interesting that Atrocity puts the villain on the Doomsday. He has the gun, which attacks much faster.
Yeah. And like this, I think I'd need like a proper Legion nerd to confirm for me. But I think the Doomsday doesn't apply villain to its first attack. So you're missing out on all of that extra damage for the first, like, 800 damage hit. But look, enough about mechanics. Here comes this massive wave 12 send. There's the Siege Ram, as expected. We've got auras coming out from Wockel. Atrocity and Johnny C, they are expecting this send. They are playing for Income King, it seems. Or at least they've gone for the Income send. Their King is pretty much full already. I would like to see them finish this spell. They need 3 more points.
Yeah, but that's a no-brainer that can be done in the last second. They need to think about what to build.
Now, Atrocity, he's on good value. Johnny C, he's actually plus value with the boar, with the triple Sky Queen. He can do pretty well here. The sends are large, though, 480 Mythium apiece. Oh, that Siege Ram died very quickly in Atrocity's lane, though. I guess the villain Doomsday is pretty okay after all. And let's go back to Johnny C.
It's not bad, of course.
It's not bad. I mean, it's good enough for a full hold here, it looks like. 480 Mythium. What? Atrocity easy holding. Johnny C,
And
meanwhile,
Johnny
he's going to
leaking,
leak,
but
but
irrelevant.
barely.
This Vulcan cannon is just gonna clean house.
Hmm.
But I mean, he could have had a Vulcan cannon alive with villain on it.
Yeah, true.
So
True. But look at this. I mean, Atrocity and Johnny C, they've gone from maybe in a precarious position to now they're just in an absolutely
nice. No,
commanding
they're in a
lead.
super nice position.
Yeah. They're in a really, really strong position now. Sure, they have a little bit less King HP, but they have all of the upgrades, while Team Doofus have none. Johnny C, he's on fire. They're still a little bit behind in workers and income, but I think they're just in such a good spot now. They have the villain as well. We've got Pawn Shot for Johnny C, so he can be a bit more agile with the way that he's building. And Wackle and Doofus, their Legion spell is spent now. That all-out assault is gone, and it didn't really achieve anything for them.
And that Atrocity putting down the egg, knowing his Doomsday is gonna keep him super safe on 13 and 14. Plus the sense just came out and he full health. So his like he's just gonna pull ahead, and look at how beautifully he's tanking.
Yeah.
Like that's so disgusting that the Doomsday just walks in there and is tanking for the Drakes, but the Drakes also tanking for the Doomsday initially, so it's like,
Oh, Doofus. I mean, this is a nice fiesta for him, the single creep on 13.
that is a good play.
Oh, here comes the wave 14 send now from Atrocity and Johnny C. Wackle and Doofus, I feel like they have to answer this, and they do not. Oh no. Oh no, oh Skov, with no king upgrades, I don't know that they can survive this send.
Woggle is okay. He's 500 gold under, and Doofus is 400. No, they're not looking bad, but they're not looking good either.
He is not expecting a
agree
send here at all. He's double hunting.
I don't. Oh yeah. I do not agree with the 4 green devils on the white main.
Oh, he's not just double hunting, Skov, he's also shifting gold. Oh no! Wackle, my friend, you are about to get wackled yourself. This is going to be an enormous leak here, and I'm pretty sure it's just game over. Get Doofus. They were playing so well here in game number 2. They were a completely different team, and now with this unforced error here on wave 14, the game just comes to an anticlimactic end, it seems. There's no way they survive this. 24 creeps on a non-upgraded king.
It's dead before it can get off.
Yeah.
Second spell almost.
Wow. Absolutely wild. Okay, well, Atrocity and Johnny C, while this may have been the expected result, man, I'm absolutely heartbroken now for Wackle and Doofus, because they played so well for the first 10 waves here in game number 2, and then it all just crumbled post wave 11, it seems, and they just went to pieces. And Atrocity and Johnny C with a big 2-0. Well played.
They showed some spirit, but then Atrocity just goes ahead and rolls the Vulcan cannon for 12, which is just ridiculous. Like, to be able to reroll into a Vulcan cannon right there.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that's an Assyrian or instead a priestess. Then he's pretty much dead, I think. But
Yeah.
he just rolled the perfect DPS unit. He has a beautiful split with the Doomsday and the Drakes and all that stuff.
I'm just surprised they didn't send themselves on wave 14, right? Like, sure, he has a Doomsday, but he also has an egg, and the rest of his build is pretty weak on 14. Like, a Ghost Knight's looking pretty spicy. Or even just go Income King, right? You have to know how weak you are on 14.
Income King, yeah, but I mean, he wasn't looking that bad, I think. The Oathbreakers aren't that bad. I mean, of course, they're not arcane tanks, but Fortified is only 5% extra damage.
Yeah.
It's not that huge, and he did just, like, hit full health 12.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Oh, Skov, I've found something spicy. So for starters, we should go and spectate Drakir's game, because they're currently on wave 15 in their second game. But not only that, they actually dropped their first game against 1M and 1N. So that's
Ooh.
pretty interesting here. They, perhaps the tournament favourites, Drakir and FC Lucy, they're currently 0-1 in their series against 1M, 1N. Let's pop into that game number 2 right now.
Alright, wave 16 coming up. We see Sens out of both teams. Massive fiends. Seven imps, I mean, out of Lucy with Pack and Mole. See lots of stuff coming out of Kia, full aura. We see a Honey Bear, a Witch, and 4 Robos. We got 1M20 with the 4 eyes, Mole, and some snails.
Okay. Some
And
pretty...
Intense just went income king.
Yeah. Now, I have just updated the scoreboard, but that takes a wave to kick in, so we might not get that before this game ends, because these are mega sends here on 16.
The mega sends, but I
Ooh.
don't like it. Is wave 16, but it is not full spell.
Yeah?
At 36, I mean, I guess a lot of it is Robos.
I mean, without the full King spell upgrade, I think they just die here. This is an
Yeah.
enormous leak. 170% there for 1M. It's close. I mean, if they had full spell, they would have survived here, but they didn't, and that means we have a 1-1 now. So I'm pretty glad. Okay, we kind of missed the end of that game, but we are here just in time to see the crucial game number 3 between Barnes Kieran and the Div 1 Seeders, 1M and 1N. So that's pretty cool, Scarv. I mean, let's just pretend that we never caught the last 2 seconds of that one, and we're about to hop into a fresh game number 3 here for Drakir and Lucy against 1M and 1N. Very exciting stuff.
What do you mean forget it? I did an excellent job trying to call it as you were slow at spectating.
True. Very true. Alright. So it is a 1-1, guys. I'm not going to go checking the masterminds to get that part of the scoreboard updated, but we will be able to catch this game number 3, which is very cool, and a little bit of an upset there for 1M, 1N to snack Drakir and Lucy in this first round of the tournament. Although, having said that, 1M, 1N, they are no strangers to Nova Cup. They did make it through to the semi-finals, I think, in their very first tournament together, so really cool to see them taking down the champions here in the October Cup, and I would love to see what they can show us now in game number 3. That game that we just caught the very end of actually looked like it was a fairly close one, apart from the fact that they got blown out there 100-0 on wave 16. Everything else, all the other economy metrics were pretty tight, so had they been able to survive there, the game could have been pretty interesting.
Maybe it was a slight miscommunication. One of the players went for income king. If the other player had done it as well, they would have for sure gotten a full spell on them, on their king.
Oh, did one of them send full?
One of them sent full, yeah.
Oh no.
I think Drakir got ink king, but Lucy got a full send.
Okay. Yeah, so had that been an income king, then they almost certainly would have survived, right?
Yeah. Question is what kind of state they would have survived in.
Sure. And they would have given away tons of gold to Lucy and Drakir there as well.
Yeah, so like the king would have been
in shambles.
10% HP probably, and all of the league gold would
have put Drakir and Lucy in very good standing. That's absolutely fair. Yeah.
And Drakir and Lucy are just so good at playing together, so their late game calls are gonna be absolutely top notch. I feel. That is hard to stay on track with.
Yeah, absolutely. But clearly 1M and 1N are capable of doing that because they won game number 1. So I'm really excited to see what game number 3 has in store for us. And meanwhile, we do have all 4 players in the lobby, so we should be able to get this game underway ASAP. It looks like players are ready, so we're about to get the show on the road. Skov, what's your call for this one?
I mean, you called Drakir and Lucy favorites for the tournament. I see Atrocity and Johnny coming in as the new hot kids on the block, but Drakir and Lucy have definitely won their fair share of Nova Cups, and I don't think that 1M 1N is gonna put a cog in the machinery right now.
Fair enough.
I think it's gonna be a good game, a close game. but I think Drakir and Lucy are gonna be able to pull ahead
Fair enough,
in the end.
fair enough. Well, we are about to find out. My scoreboard is not quite updated, but ignore that for now. Game number 3, guys. Here it is. The scoreline is in fact 1-1, so that will update when Wave 1 starts. But for now, you'll just have to trust me. And we
AS
have...
Castle coming out of Drakir and Lucy, and we see
Yeah.
redraw from Intense, and what is 1M20 gonna go for? The Legion spells this time around is Savior, which is a kind of a boring spell in my opinion.
Yeah,
So,
there's 3 like economy slash buff spells
yeah,
in the game, which is why Castle and Chaos are so appealing here for Drakir and Lucy. And I'm assuming that Intense has a similar thought process when he picks Redraw here, because those 3 masterminds are all extremely good scaling into the late game. And when you have triple defensive slash eco spells, the late game is looking pretty likely indeed. So, I guess we'll have to see which team can take it late the best, and it may well just be Drakir and Lucy.
the buff to Volibear in the last patch is really shining through. I don't know how many times we've seen it being opened in just these couple of games that we've watched. This is the 3rd game we watched from the beginning, and we've seen like 5 Whirlybird openers.
Yeah, right. This has been the Whirlybird Cup, it seems, so far today. We've had this opener in pretty much every game we've seen so far, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 4 or 5 out of 12 games.
Yeah.
4 or 5 out of 12 possible openers that has been Whirlybirds.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Alright, so Jules already in favour of the Div 1 seeders, giving them the 5% lead, but I think we are about to see that change perhaps in the next couple of waves. So Drakir playing with the Atom Walk here does go for a post-income Snail into 1M, but he is not playing risky. He adds the Infiltrator. He should be completely fine.
He is cruising. It's gonna be interesting to see. Intense going for a classic AoE build, but there's the new Honey Bear.
Yeah, actually, this might be the first Honey Bear we get to see in the Nova Cup, because that could very well shut down Intense super hard on, say, Wave 6.
It's so funny for me reading the patch notes. I was so hyped to see a fighter costing 180 because everything else is usually divisible by 4, all the power mercs, or 40. But then it turns out that it's such a niche, so it's not like... Sometimes when you're stuck with 180 Mythium and you kind of don't want to... You don't know exactly what to do.
Yeah. So it fills that gap pretty nicely.
Yeah, it fills that gap, but then it's such a niche pick, so it's not something you can just...
Yeah.
It's the 180 power merc.
I think it's going to be a very polarizing mercenary, because it's going to be extremely strong against AoE builds, which is why I expect to see one here into Intense's lane at some point. But it's going to be just kind of weak into normal, like, single target builds, right?
Yeah. So, like, I think AoE builds are probably just almost completely dead.
Well, we'll have to find out how Intense makes this one work here. He is on a 7-worker early lead so far, but having said that, so is Lucy, actually.
Yeah, exactly. There are many ways to get many workers early on. And most of them won't be as punishing later on as going for AoE now.
Yeah, right.
Because AoE already has their fair share of struggles. Like 5 can be difficult, 6 can be difficult, 10 is obviously difficult.
And AoE is already getting super hard shut down by Mole and Hermit, right, in the early game, so giving them one more option to play against AoE.
And now, and exactly. Sometimes you want to go for Mole Hermit against AoE, but you just don't make it to 200, so you end up going for a Mole Brood, and that's not gonna happen anymore, because now you're just gonna go for the Honey Bear instead and be like, I'm cruising.
Alright, so Both sides are still keeping this very, very close. We've got 8 and 7 workers on both pairs, so not really a whisker between them so far. Lucy is starting to save up her Mythium, though, so we might have that deadly, deadly honey bear coming out sooner than later.
Oh, we do see a Treant as well. It's gonna be interesting to see what kind of upgrade it's gonna be, because it is in front of the honey flower. But with the build that Intense is setting up, it's most likely gonna be the Tree of Knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, Lucy's Mythium is looking very much like it could be Honey Bear on 7 territory.
Oh, definitely. 60 more before income for 7 is very, very, like, there's no way it's not happening.
This could be scary, Scarftrolled. Intense is starting to roll. He spent a couple of rolls here. He's looking for something, perhaps. He's still more or less on value now for wave 6 at least, but he's putting more gold into AoE with this Fire Elemental, and I just think the Honey Bear could absolutely blow him away on 7 now.
At least there was a Badger added for 1M2O here. So he's gonna have some nice tank value.
Yeah, he's on value in general on 1M. He's plus 30. He's got a decent build there for wave 7, so he should at least be able to hold, maybe even cover. But Intense, I mean, Lucy, there's that 180. Oh, she doesn't! Lucy, you've let me down! Oh no! I really wanted to see that Honey Bear come out, man.
Yeah, that's really interesting that the Honey Bear does not come out here, because she had the perfect Mythium for it.
Yep. I mean, would it not have just absolutely destroyed Intense?
I mean, we're gonna have to check and see afterwards.
1M, it looks like, is pinging his teammate, telling him to raise the split. So he is actually playing around, receiving like a Honey Bear. So maybe Lucy's Aura Send is actually going to work out the best.
See the Brute here.
The Brute is dying very quickly. Actually, it's already gone. Yeah. But there's still a ton of value left with that Safety Maul. So much reducing the damage of the Aqua Pair. Oh, and the Fire Elemental dying very, very quickly here. But Intense, I mean, he's kind of fine there, leaking 50% to a 220 Mythium Send. Yeah, he'll take that. Meanwhile, Drakir actually doesn't leak much less, and he only received 100, so a pretty decent trade now. And really, there's not much between the teams at all.
I wonder how it would have been if Lucy just held on to the 60 Mythium, took the 15 gold loss from not setting the Brute, and then went for a Mole or Hermit instead.
Oh, that could have been absolutely devastating. Yeah, the Hermit just keeping the wave topped up while the Mole reduces the damage.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to see the bear, man.
We all want to see the bear.
We all want to see the bear. And if I'm looking at Intense's board now, he just looks absolutely garbage on wave 10. So yeah, we get another round of Income King here coming out from both sides, it looks like. But Intense, you just can't push too much because you're looking so weak here on wave 10.
But you could add the Halo here on 9.
He has the Halo, sure, but like there's not too much tank value for it then, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Alright. Jules still very happy with both teams, it looks like. And actually we get a full send coming out on 9 from Intense. Drakir, though, I mean, he's going to be overvalue. Yep, he adds a Warg here. He's looking pretty solid. He's got the canopies for damage. He's got the natural armor to tank. And I think he's going to do just fine.
And Lucy's going for the carry on 10.
Mm-hmm.
And she's only receiving a Fiend here, so there's no punish at all.
No, Lucy is completely fine here. So the Big Send, the 140 into Drakia, he is on value, however, and we do have at least a Robo going to finish off this Atom, so he won't be able to damage for the entire wave, but I think with his value, with his unit quality, Drakia should be more than
I
fine here.
mean, even though it goes down, I still think the split tanking of it is,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
yeah.
And yeah, that's an easy hold there for Drakia. Meanwhile, both players did save, so here we get the counterattack coming out. The triple brute from Drakia into 1M, and the pack leader from Lucy into Intense. So sure, he's going to go for that Halo to try and do as well as he can here. But again, I think he's just lacking in tank value.
And the fact, I mean, okay, he put it in front, and I was gonna say that's an issue, but the split is gonna pull the boss right.
A double Halo? I don't know, man. He just needs some sort of meat on the board, and the double Halo doesn't help him with that.
And I wonder what's gonna go down first. The Halo, yeah, one Halo is gonna go down. Okay.
Oh, he's actually focusing the pack leader with something, or is that just aqua splashes?
That looked like just aqua splashes.
Yeah.
Otherwise
Oh, and it survives! Oh no! And yeah, that's a 78% leak. Meanwhile, 1M, you're leaking as well, 41% for him. Sure, Lucy and Drakia actually both leak as well, but they're going to take very little damage from this. Meanwhile, on the side of the Div 1 Seeders, that's some healthy granddaddies reaching their king, and even though they have max attack, they're still dropping a ton of HP here on Wave 10, all the way down to 65%. And this game, which has been so close, now looks like Drakia and Lucy have taken a little bit of an advantage, although Jules still doesn't see it that way.
No, but Jules doesn't know about scaling, I think, or the scaling builds, and I still think that Intense is looking rather much in danger for later on in the stages of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's playing redraw, so he can still dig for options, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But he is the lowest income in the game as well, so I don't know. Meanwhile, Drakia, his castle power spike has just kicked in. Remember, he's been in a pretty solid spot throughout the entire early game, and that was while playing a zero-income mastermind. So now he gets this big income power spike. Let's see if he can just take over the game.
And he does have a Hades, which is a really strong fighter for later on in the game as well. And he has 2 Tempests, soon to be Leviathans.
Yeah,
So
that's going to be a super Hades, as Mr. Slickens would say. Alright, we do have a Wave 12 send coming out here from Drakia and Lucy. 1M and 1N, they do not match it. But are they going to be able to survive? Because these are some pretty juicy sends now coming out from Barnes Kieran.
And Tense is looking pretty good, I say, with the Death Cap. There's also the Rogue Wave and the Fire Elemental.
Yeah, he's got good units, but at the same time, he's 250 undervalue, you know? And this is a Graal that he's added, which is just 145 gold worth of nothing.
And there is 120 in Bees and 80 in Gargoyles, and there's been the Treant.
I think this could be a decent leak here. And there's just nothing to tank for his death cap, right? So his best unit is already dead. And the wave's been here for about 3 seconds. That's going to be a decent leak there for Intense. So let's pop over and have a look at 1M. He is doing better, it seems, but that's going to be a leak as well. 92% for Intense. 1M, that's 42%, so much better. Should be enough to keep them alive, but again, this is a ton of gold going in favour of Barnes Kieran.
Yeah, they have a lot of attack, but they're lagging for spell right now.
Yeah, they're taking a lot of damage, Golf. They're dropping all the way down here to 20%, it looks like, even lower. And things are looking pretty scary now for the Div 1 Seeders. Barnes Kieran, they have turned what was a very close game for the first 10 waves into an absolute snowball, it seems, within just 2 waves' time.
And I think it's just going to be over in 15, right? Sure, there are the Badgers, but where's the damage for 1M2O. And sure, there's the Arc of Justice, but where's the tanks for Intense?
Yeah. And assuming that they wanted to go wave 14, FC Lucy showing exactly why Chaos is such a BS mastermind, rolling that Doomsday Machine just in time that she's going to have the perfect answer for a wave 14 send.
And the Assyria is going to split tank perfectly as well. Oh, Drakir, Lucy going 14 here.
Yeah.
Well.
So do Div 1 Seeders, so they are going for the multiple Ogre sends. But again, with this Doomsday Machine, Lucy should perform way better than she has any rights to. And Drakir, he's just popping out an Iron Scales or a Batter Badger, if you like. He's on value. Lucy's on value. 1M, 1N. They're both on value as well, actually.
2 badges. Oh, is he... He had 2 canopies, now he has 1 canopy and some gold. What's he gonna do? Is there gonna be another badger?
There's gonna be a badger. The thing is, with only 19% health remaining on their king, 1M and 1N, they cannot afford to leak here at all. While Drakir and Lucy, they have a much bigger HP advantage that just puts them in a much safer position, right?
They can leak some and still be fine, and I think they're gonna be more than fine, honestly.
They're going to be more than fine. Meanwhile, Intense, he is going to be very far from fine. It seems he's leaking decently here, 69% there, but 1M, he is showing signs of life here with a very comfortable hold, though Drakir and Lucy both doing the same is just devastating for them. Maybe had they gone for an Income King play here, the Div 1 Seeders could have been in an alright position, but the fact that they both went for failed full sends here just puts them in an absolute doomer of a situation.
1M2O managed to keep them alive, but for how long? And
yeah, they're down to 14% on their king. They have less income. Well, actually, the income situation is pretty close. But that's what I mean. So had they gone for an Income King play on 14, they could actually be in a decent spot right now. They would have more income than their opponents. Their king would be healing up already. But they went for the full send, which just fed more gold to Drakir and Lucy. It harmed their income. It made their king weaker. And now, as a result, just look at this. We've got Drakir and Lucy both on massive shutdowns, really far ahead, really, really safe with their almost full HP king as well.
And look, their work is ahead. They're on value, and they're both shifting a lot of gold. Like Drakir had 500, Lucy had 400. So maybe they're trying to bait out the 16 cent. I would also say just go for 17 for...
Yeah. It's kind of hard for them to bait it, because even while shifting 600 gold, they're both still showing as on value here for wave 15.
Yep.
Oh, and we're actually going to see a leak to no send here from Intense, so who's baiting who? He wasn't shifting gold, though. He's just out of the game.
Who is the apprentice and who is the master baiter?
Oh, absolutely. I love it. But yeah, I mean, that's not Intense trying to bait. That's just the fact that he's absolutely dead in the water here. Look at this. So far down on the power score. He's 1,000 behind both Drakir and Lucy. And things are looking pretty rough for the Div 1 Seeders now.
And they were trying to bait out a 16. We see the Orchid being built and boosted here. Full boost, no send, and Orchids for 17 now. He is toast next wave. Oh, a little bit of spell coming out of Lucy. Showing some respect for the potential send, but then again, not really.
Yeah. And, I mean, Intense, he can just leak to no send here while playing an AoE build on 16. That's how far out of the game he is right now, it seems.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's gonna be fine. But yeah, this wave 17 send is gonna be massive now.
Is he gonna be fine?
Well, he's not gonna be fine. I go back to my original statement. Yeah, he leaks 17% to no send, and meanwhile Drakir and Lucy. There's the Honey Bear. Okay, this is the first Nova Cup Honey Bear appearance. Let's see if this thing can do some work into Intense's full AoE build here on Wave 17, Scov.
It's gonna be interesting to see.
It is going to be interesting indeed, but I fear there's only going to be one result from this wave now, because 1N, he's 1.5k undervalue, 1M, he's 800 undervalue.
Lucy the Chaos God rolling treants for 17.
I mean, it's just absolutely amazing, isn't it? How Chaos players are so very, very skilled, it seems. These
Yeah.
sends now are spelling doom, I think, for the Div 1 seeders. Let's have
Yeah.
a look. They did go for Income King this time, but I think it's going to be too little, too late, as we have these 800 Mythium sends. And in fact, the first Honey Bear of Nova Cup, it seems, is going to achieve absolutely nothing because it doesn't even tank. So we won't get to see that massive heal until it reaches King. It's going to heal the wave against the King, right?
Oh.
And these
I
leaks
mean,
are massive.
is it? The King is not. I mean, the King's not gonna focus it because it's not the priority target.
I think it. Let's find out. But regardless, these leaks are enormous. This is 2-1 now in favour of Barnes Kieran. They win the match and they will advance to the upper bracket game, where they will face Johnny and Atrocity. Yeah, interesting. That was a pretty hype match, Skov, and look, it was super close for the first like 11 waves, right? And then all of a sudden, Drakir and Lucy just popped off, man. Like, what was it? This wave 12 where they got a massive leak out of Intense. Like, he's playing an AoE build with a death cap, but there's no tanks in front of it, and he just leaks 92% to a baby send on what should have been his strongest wave. And all of a sudden, Drakir and Lucy, they just were so far ahead, and they could not be stopped any longer. So from wave 12 onwards, this was the Drakir and Lucy show, and then no surprises really. They close out the game here on wave 17. So 2-1 for those guys. Really, really well played. But guys, we're going to have to go to a quick break, I think. Give the players 10 minutes now in between their next series. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with that winners bracket game, which will be Atrocity and Johnny facing off against Drakir and Lucy. That's a really hype game, actually, Skov. That's a very, very high-rated, exciting game to see.
That's number 1 and number 2 favorites
Yeah.
for the tournament for sure. We can discuss who's whom, but it's definitely 1 and 2.
Yeah, absolutely. So on that note, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in around 10 minutes time to give you that super hype upper bracket game. So we'll see you.
Ooh.
We'll see you
I'm in Sandbox.
Oh.
And wave 7, Mole Hermit.
Yeah.
94%.
Oh, 94. Wow. Okay.
Compared to the 52.
Yeah,
I think Lucy maybe should have taken the 15 gold loss for income. And
oh, she would have more than made it back, right? Because that would have also... The Hermit would heal the leak. They would have got infinite king damage in as well. That would have been pretty juicy. And on that bombshell, guys, we're going to a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. As we said before the break, we have an absolute banger of a series for you now because it's going to be Barnes Kieran, that's Drakir and Lucy, facing off against Double Trouble, that's Atrocity, and Johnny C. So perhaps the two tournament favourites squaring off already here in the Group B upper bracket game. Skovtrold, do you have a prediction for this one, my friend?
A tied 3-2-1 to one of the teams.
2-1 to one of the teams. I'm going to need something a bit firmer than that, dude. Come on, which team? Who's going to take it?
Johnny C and Atrocity.
Oh, very cool. Do you know what? I think I'm inclined to agree with you, actually, just because I know Johnny and Atrocity have been absolutely grinding the ladder lately, whereas Lucy's been playing, but Drakir, I think, not so much. So maybe Rusty Drakir won't quite be able to compete at this very, very highest level of the game. But I mean, it's still Drakir, right? It's still Drakir, so we'll see.
Drakir is second on the ladder. Let's just be absolutely clear about that.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just because he's a nerd, right?
Freak. Geek.
But I think, oh, maybe he has been playing then. I don't know if that was some pre-Nova Cup practice that he snuck in there while nobody was looking. Maybe. Perhaps.
Well,
but do we have a lobby up, Skov? We should.
We have a lobby. Yeah, there are 5 players in here.
Oh, amazing. Let's go. There we go.
But it is going to be interesting to see who can take this.
Yeah, I just need to swap the sides on my scoreboard, but that should be fine.
It's a high likelihood that whoever wins this is going to win the tournament. But I mean, you can win one series here and lose it the next day. But
yeah, this is upper bracket, remember. So the loser of this series is not out of the tournament. They still get another chance in the last chance match to make it to the semi-finals. But the winner of this will be seeded first in the semi-final. So they will get to play the lower seeded player from Group A. And you're right, it does mean they are slightly favoured, at least to make it through to the grand finals, right?
Yeah.
All right, it looks like the players are getting ready, so we should be able to get this game underway pretty soon. We've got a prediction for Johnny C and Atrocity from both casters, which almost certainly means that Drakir and Lucy will end up winning the series. That's how these things work, right, Skovtrold?
It is how it is.
But ultimately, it's going to be up to the players to decide who makes it through. And one way or another, one thing I can say for certain is that this game is going to be an absolute blast because these are 4 very, very talented players absolutely playing at the top of the game. And they're going to have a really good show for us, I think.
This is going to be some of the highest level of gameplay you've probably seen. Like maybe not in all of Nova Cup, but it's going to be up there.
I think it looks like we're just waiting for Drakir and Lucy to get back, so a little bit more padding. What sort of masterminds are we expecting? So obviously with Johnny C, surely we're going to see some Chaos and Fiesta gaming, but Lucy's been playing some Fiesta as well. Drakir and Atrocity, I mean, both of them can play more or less anything. I wonder if we'll see one of Atrocity's double lock-in shenanigans coming out, because he probably spends more time in Sandbox than anybody except maybe Aviator. So his positioning, his memorization of where to place units for maximum effect is really, really high up there, and that's something that I think stands out for him as a player. So I'd be really interested to see what kind of strategy these guys go for.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. I think maybe not so much in favor anymore, but Drakir and Lucy have been known to play Fiesta Cartel before.
Mm-hmm.
That has fallen a bit out of the spotlight, but I still think we could see it, or maybe just Fiesta Greed or something like that.
Yeah, I think Fiesta kind of fell out of favour a little bit towards the start of this season. It was obviously extremely strong and extremely popular at the end of last season. Did get hit by the Jules nerf hammer a couple of times, of course, and as a result it hasn't been played nearly as much this year. But recent changes to things like leak gold and king damage in the early game have started to see a bit of a Fiesta resurgence, it seems. So for players like Johnny C, who plays it maybe better than anybody else right now, that's obviously a very good thing. And we've seen him use Fiesta to really good effect, both last month when he won, and so far this month as well. And without any further ado, because we have had enough padding, the players are back, and we should be able to get into this upper bracket game very, very soon. So we're calling it in favour of Johnny and Atrocity. I think both of us expect this to go to the full 3 games, so a 2-1 prediction.
Look
I think.
Look at the ratings of the players. Like they have a combined rating of like 13,500.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane, right? But guys, here we go. Game number 1. Let's go. And there we go with the Fiesta snap pick there from Johnny C. Game number 1, no fear. Let's go.
Fiesta Greed and Chaos Greed.
Yeah. Chaos there for Lucy. Again with the triple kind of eco/buff spell. With the sacrifice, the cred, the hero. Nobody's really playing around a super aggressive wave 11-12 because, that's when you expect a like an all-out assault game or something like that. And Drakir is sniffing the Fiesta, by the way. He's going for the snail here, wave 1 into Johnny. Johnny doesn't have a traditional Fiesta opener, but he's just placed this Chain Fist and then pressed the reroll button. So let's see if he finds anything better. If not, he's probably just going to go for that Oathbreaker and get the free wave 1 hold against the snail, which isn't a bad thing either.
Yeah. He just sniffs out, like as Johnny C does, sniffs out everything that can ever come his way. That the snail is coming on 1.
Mm-hmm.
Or what is he? What do we see here?
Oh, he's playing Fiesta Gatling gun. I wondered, has he got written permission from Shadowwings, the known trademark holder of Fiesta gun, to play this opener? Or is he going for a little bit of trademark violation? But yeah, so he's turbo rewarded now for playing... he's playing Fiesta. Drakir is now none the wiser. And he gets the +4 gold, of course, from the snail. So Johnny C pretty happy with the way that one turned out. He's going to push 6 workers, I would imagine. Maybe get a small leak on 3.
We see Anchor Treant out of Atrocity, which is something that I like to go for as well.
Oh, and Lucy, nice locking the Masked Spirit here to add to her Priestess. But it does mean she has to stay 4 workers.
Yeah, and there's not going to be any mask in the split. And that's the thing that cannot be understated, the value of...
Yeah, absolutely. Like the way that masks can just kite the wave forever is a big part of why Potomask is such a strong combination. Now, Lucy did go for a post-income snail here into Atrocity's build. Is it going to get a leak here? It looks like no, but only because Atrocity added another angler, right?
Yeah, and an angler that tanked.
Yep.
Oh, it's an interesting choice that the angler went in front.
Yeah,
but
and
it allowed the Treant longer time to deal damage, which was really important.
Really important, yeah, because if that had been a safe angler, this would have been a massive, massive leak, I think, for Atrocity. But as a result, he did completely fine, and now we have more income sends coming out on wave 3. Lucy continues to build here. Oh, Johnny's actually adding the snail, so he's trying for a leak here, but Lucy adding a split, she's going to be more than fine here. She's going to easily clean up the wave. Drakir as well with the Cursed Casket and the Atom. He's going to be totally fine too. Johnny C, let's see, because he is going for that Fiesta gun, does only receive 2 snails, but that's more than enough to leak him 61% here. What did he add? Just 2 fists. So yeah, he did go for that 6 workers, but this leak is a bit bigger than I expected. And meanwhile, his teammate leaking 61% as well to the double snail. Oh dear. The joint 61% leaks here on wave 3 coming out from Double Trouble indeed for their king, dropping all the way down to 84% here on wave 3.
But from like double 61% to only go to 84%, it's not the end of the world.
Sure, but it's still a lot of gold going in favour of Barnes Kieran, and Jules is very happy with them, by the way, giving them 65% win odds already here on wave 4.
Yeah, that is an incredible lead to have at this stage. It's gonna be interesting to see how they'll maintain it, and if they're able to maintain it.
Now, Johnny C does receive another full send here with the triple snail. He's got some very nice split tanking going on. This might actually be a pretty good fiesta for him. He does clean up a couple more chickens. Yeah, 2 creeps leaked to a full send. He's happy with that.
He is very happy with that, and that means that the angler is going to go to full stacks here, or close to.
And it looks like Atrocity will upgrade that guy here as well. He does indeed. Surely you add a split as well, Mr. Atrocity?
He has 30 gold. I mean, yeah, he can... No, he just
stacks the cats. Okay, that's fine.
I don't think the split is that important. Like, he has the angler in front. He kind of wants that to just die.
True.
Especially with the brood incoming. But the treant is low on value. Okay, he has plus 50 value, so he's basically on value here.
Yeah.
With what he has.
He's on value with bad units. I wouldn't even be surprised to see a bit of a leak coming out here.
Yeah.
Ooh, the hero angler, actually.
Oh my god, what is this?
Yeah,
perfect. That's why you don't add a split and just up the cat instead. And Lucy with a 57% leak.
Oh, that's wild. Yeah, I mean, I guess she just didn't have enough tank value to keep her priestess alive.
Yeah, and Johnny with just...
Oh, that's a juicy fiesta for the god himself. And meanwhile, Atrocity with his plus 50 value. It is going to be enough. This hero angler that tanked the boss absolutely perfectly, survived, cleaned up the wave. That's a really good performance there for Atrocity. Although he is plus 50 value.
Yeah, but he is going to be very happy with this.
Yeah, oh, he's absolutely rewarded for staying plus 50. The thing is, he needs to stay plus value again because his build is very, very weak on wave 6, and there is another full send coming out from Drakir and Lucy. The brutes from both of them. And what will Atrocity have?
Atrocious here.
Oh, I see what you've done there. I think the best way he can spend his gold probably is like a tree in the split and then finish the stacks on the Necromata.
Yeah.
Oh, he's actually building for wave 7 though.
Oh, why would he do that?
I mean, I guess the tree is not much better here, to be fair, but I feel like it's better value than the Necromata.
I think a cat in a split and then a tree somewhere safe for the damage is what he would have liked.
Oh, perhaps.
I mean, it's really good at killing the wave, right?
Sure. I mean, he's actually leaking quite a lot. Lucy's leaking quite a lot to triple DT though. But here we go. So we've got a baby leak, a really good fiesta there from Johnny C. Wow. But Atrocity leaking 43% means they will take a bit of king damage here. But having said that, Johnny C's fiestas have just been so on point so far this game. I mean,
and do you remember what happened? What Jules' predictions were at wave 4?
Yeah, 65% in favour, right? That's now flipped on its head. Double Trouble, they're now favoured by the big man, and we'll have to see if that goes even further now on wave 7. It does, 61%. That advantage almost completely reversed now in favour of Double Trouble. Despite having slightly lower king HP, they're just in such a good spot here.
And they're very behind on income, actually. But that just doesn't matter for some reason. I mean, we are going to see a massive value spike at some point for Atrocity.
Yeah, a lot of his power score is tied up in these bounty hunters. So when you get that big kingpin power spike, Atrocity is going to go from kind of playing slow and steady to having a massive power spike, being able to press the worker button pretty hard, and that should cement his position quite nicely. Lucy did get a full send here, and the Hermit is just destroying her. The Hellraiser not able to kill too many wave creeps. That's a 66% leak. And look at this. She's just right at the bottom of the table. Johnny C is handling her nicely, it seems.
And Atrocity, like the angler, how does he do it?
Yeah, the guy's just a beast.
Initially it tanked 240, and then it lived and dropped all aggro, and then it took like 30 more damage.
Against most people, I would say that they're just getting lucky with that positioning. But knowing Atrocity, he just has these like grid positions memorized that he can always place his units in the perfect spots.
You saw him he added a seedling like in the middle here, which went in and allowed the 50 extra range for the angler, so it took a little bit of aggro, and then the seedling took in, and then that gave time to the tree and the cat to go in there and take aggro.
Oh, and here we go. Here's a deadly Wave 8 pack leader, Drakir. What is your answer? Well, it's a Shadow Dancer. Not too shabby, but we have seen pack leaders on 8 do absolute work in last month's Nova Cup. Let's see now, because this Cage of Pain is dying very quickly. It didn't get to cast a single time on the wave, and the Shadow Dancer is going down. It doesn't get too many clones off. This will be a mega leak here from Drakir on wave 8. The one positive is that Lucy has finally managed to stem the bleeding. She will hold. She will be able to full cover as well, I think. And meanwhile, we have another pretty decent Fiesta leak for Johnny C. 48% against the full send here from Drakir. This is looking really nice for Team Double Trouble.
What does it matter when one teammate stops leaking when the other one picks it up?
Right, exactly.
And yeah, full hold from Atrocity here.
And we get more income coming out from all 4 players. And Johnny C is in such a good spot here. Look at this, 19 workers versus 12 on Lucy, who he sends into. He's got the highest income in the game. He's still pretty much on par in terms of value. And now we have the Kingpin power spike for Atrocity. He gets the Giga value. He gets the income send here. He's going to be able to press the worker button a couple of times, I would like to think. And things are going from bad to worse for Barnes Kieran. How are they going to pull this one back?
It's not the biggest Kingpin in the world, but
True.
Well, it's not the smallest either, so they'll be fine with it.
But after all, it's not the size, it's what you do with it that counts, right? So will Atrocity be able to abuse this power spike now to put himself into a really solid position? I guess we're about to find out. He's pushing workers pretty nicely, but Johnny C still commanding that lead up there with 22 workers now versus... He's in a really, really good position.
I think the players this game really like the Sovereign.
Yeah, it looks like, right?
Yeah. And then of course Atrocity with the Doomsday. Really nice for him to have something for 13.
Johnny C is on fire here, which is not really what you want to see as a Fiesta player, of course, because you can no longer play quite as greedily as you like, or you can, but you're going to get punished for it.
You don't want to you don't really want to leak post 10 anyways, Fiesta, right? That is kind of the time where you start being like, okay, let's cut the leaks. I mean, he's still gonna leak here, I think.
Well, the Sovereign does get max value. Lucy's leaking to the DTs again, and he does leak. I mean, this would be an absolutely perfect Fiesta if not for the fact that he gave shutdown gold here. Alright, more income coming out from 3 of the 4 players. Atrocity deciding to turn on the Cringe now, the only player in the game saving Mythium.
And Lucy really low on value.
I mean, she's just been leaking a lot in this game. If we have a look at this chart here, Lucy with 3 back-to-back orange leaks on 5, 6, and 7. It just put her in a fairly awkward position. And meanwhile, sure, Johnny's got a couple of orange leaks as well, but then he's got like 3 or 4 absolutely perfect Fiesta leaks so far this game.
And like orange leaks have to be in the 70s almost to really punish Fiesta, especially in the early game. Like, even a 50% leak, if it's not like 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, and even then Fiesta players can still be okay. So
Yeah.
you need to punish more than that, and Johnny's just, he doesn't get hit like that.
Nope. And reading the situation very nicely, he did build heavily here for wave 11, where Drakir full sent, hoping to get another shutdown. Meanwhile, Lucy is leaking 46% to a single Cannoneer, plus King Ups, and this game is just going from bad to worse if you're a Barnes Kieran fan. Johnny, smelling blood on Lucy's lane, goes for the full send. Here comes the Mole and the Robo. The Hellraiser is tantrumed though, which is nice, and Lucy is going to be on value when she finishes building, it seems.
Yeah.
So actually she can do very well here, and this might be the saving grace that she's been hoping for to get her back into the game.
Yeah, 160 full send is quite the interesting choice here. I mean, it's gonna be a 200 at the end of the day. Oh wait, sorry.
You can add a Hermit, right, and then I guess like a Snail or a DT?
Actually, 2 brutes.
2 brutes. Okay. And actually, Lucy shifted gold here. Oh, she's playing for Creditor. That's why I didn't see her Legion spell. So maybe this 280 Mythium Send is going to get more work done than I thought.
The Priestess for tanking. Actually, as a treasure hunt as well.
That is a treasure hunt. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty juicy leak, actually. So I expected Lucy to do just fine here. I didn't see the Creditor. That's classic Caster Curse stuff going on there. And a 51% leak here from FC Lucy. Pretty much negating her Creditor value, right? She's probably lost as much gold as she's gained by this point.
Probably.
Drakir, he is under pressure now from a Atrocity. He's pretty comfortably under value. Lucy, I mean, she's okay on value.
The Creditor was still alright, because there's the total value is 180 for wave 13. And she leaked 51%, there was cents as well, so still slightly ahead with the Creditor, but obviously it's not ideal still.
Yeah. Okie dokie. So we have everybody now saving their Mythium, going for a 14 send actually. So maybe this will be the saving grace that I was talking about again for Lucy on 12 already, because she should be in a good spot in terms of value, having credited for 3 waves in a row. She should be able to hold this 14 send, but actually, is she even able to hold 13 to no send?
It looks like a small leak.
A small leak, yeah, but imagine like Johnny C could have just income sent and she would have leaked huge.
Yeah, but they wanted to go for the big 14 and they're gonna feel the impact of that now. Johnny doesn't have too much, it's just, okay, he doesn't have too little either. He has on 32 workers, so he can afford to...
Yeah. He can send
14.
quite a lot. And Drakir and Lucy, they're not going for the match with a full send. They are going for the income king line, it seems. So Johnny and Atrocity should both easily be able to hold here on 14. And if we check out Drakir and Lucy's lanes, well, Lucy is on value thanks to that full creditor on 3 waves. And Drakir, he's not far behind, honestly, with a very good wave 14 build. Holy moly. This is...
That is very good build, and Lucy's decent here, I think.
Yeah, for sure she is. Her Azeria is tanking almost perfectly. Like, it could have tanked a couple more, I think, and that would have been perfect, but it tanked okay. And if we pop back over to Drakir...
Now the pack alone is going on at Cybele.
Yeah.
I mean,
she still leaks, though. She's still leaking while being on value. That's 68%, but the star of the show, Drakir over here. Oh, his Sovereign does die. Okay, that's
Sovereign dies, but there's still some DK value.
Yeah, I mean he's going to be able to full cover in the mid, right, with that Hero Dread Knight pretty easily, it seems. So now they're in a pretty solid spot, and they did go for the income king line. So do you remember from the previous series when we said the team behind needed to go for income king and they might have been in an okay position? Well, Drakir and Lucy, they read the situation very, very well, did go for the income king line, and although they're still behind in this game, their position is better than it would have been if they had gone for a failed full send.
Yeah. But it is gonna be interesting to see what the two teams will do from here on. I mean, but I'm looking down at the workers and what is going on here. Johnny has 20 workers over Drakir and Atrocity has 7 more than Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 27 workers ahead. That is gonna end up almost insurmountable at some point. And they went for income, Drakir and Lucy, and sure, Lucy is like 50 income ahead of Atrocity, and Drakir and Johnny are in the same, but I don't think 50 gold alone for a couple of waves is gonna matter that much. And then we're gonna see the Sent coming.
Oh, but this could be falling into Drakir and Lucy's hands, actually, because they didn't push the worker button. They might be able to do very, very well here on 16. Drakir goes for another full Sovereign, and with 485 gold, he's just adding tank value. And I think this is good, actually, for him to just build full tank value rather than trying to play for pyros or something like that, right? Because all he needs to do to be successful is keep this thing alive as long as possible.
Yeah, and he has 3 lionesses.
Yep.
And one of them is at 5 stacks, the other is at 3, and one is at 2.
Yeah, he's got really good tank value to stand in front of this. And actually, the triple Iron Maiden can do some serious work here on 16. He only receives an income send, so Atrocity not even trying to leak him here.
And the Iron Maidens also reduces the damage of the wave quite a bit.
Meanwhile, though, Lucy did get a full send, and it looks like this will be a pretty decent leak onto her.
Yeah.
So Johnny C farming the Burt Gold, Atrocity farming the income meanwhile. However, Drakir and FC Lucy did save their Mythium here, so they are representing a serious threat now into the side of Double Trouble.
Look at how much gold Johnny is going to be getting.
Yeah, true. He's getting so much gold from this leak here. And although Drakir is able to fully cover it, there won't be any king damage. That's very good for Barnes Kirin.
But even with the send and the push from Drakir and Lucy, well, I mean, Drakir is still pushing, so it's going to be interesting to see if he catches up to Johnny, but they're still going to be a bit behind on workers, it looks like. I think he stopped pushing here. Or not. He sold Lassus, or he didn't sell it, he just decided not to upgrade it. So, Drakir and Lucy in the lead with workers. And they have a massive Mythium build up.
They have absolutely insane Mythium counts, yeah. Although Johnny C with his 57 workers, he's got very, very good income levels. And I guess they're going to go for an 18 send here with Atrocity shifting. So much gold, they're forcing the 18 send. Wow. Absolute balls of steel on this Australian.
And Atrocity knew that he wasn't in any danger here. There's nobody going to be sending right here, especially when he has 2 Doomsday. Johnny is on 3 Gatling guns.
Oh, and this is really interesting. Atrocity once again going for the income play, knowing that Drakir is really, really strong here on 18. It also means he can save his Mythium post-income, so he can continue to represent more of a threat against the strongest player of Barnes Kirin. And he whips out triple Fatalizer as if from thin air.
Not only just triple Fatalizer, he's gonna buff them with Ocean Templar and the magic damage.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
That is so good.
He's just gonna hold here, right?
I mean, he is down 700 value. Johnny is down 1000, but his value is so good here.
Yeah, I mean it's a 1700 send for Johnny, so we do expect him to leak pretty decently, especially because he doesn't have great damage.
A Doomsday goes down quickly, that's not great for him.
Yeah,
it might not have the best typing, but it's still one of the best DPS units in the game.
His Fatalizers are still doing work though, right? He still has 2 of those alive, the second Doomsday is still alive as well. Well, it's still going to be a leak though. Oh, the Doomsday wasn't attacking the same thing as the Fatalizer, so as a result, he leaks 2 creeps instead of 1, or 3 creeps instead of 1, I should say. Drakir obviously holding to the income send, and Double Trouble will take a lot of king damage here, plus the 100 gold shot down from Johnny.
And we're starting to see some big signs of life from Drakir and Lucy.
Yeah. You can never count these guys out. Even though they were behind in the game, they have really made the best of a bad situation, and all of a sudden they're in a really comfortable position.
Yeah, back and forth here. Really, really tight game.
Mm-hmm.
And are we gonna go to 22, you think?
I mean, it can't be wave 20, right? With the triple Fatalizer already on the board for Atrocity.
Also, Lucy showing the halos that are gonna be on the Starcaller, so like 20 is not gonna happen either.
Look at the gold numbers that these players are shifting here, Skovtrold. We've got Drakir shifting 600, Lucy shifting 700, Johnny shifting 600.
Atrocity are the only one not to shift here. And Atrocity's gonna need to build something to keep his Doomsday alive. Just that is too much damage going down too quickly.
Yeah. Even Lucy's managed to come back in this game, by the way. Remember how rough her early game was?
Yeah.
She's in an absolutely fine position now, and actually it's Atrocity who's managing to lag behind the pack so far.
I mean, now Lucy and Atrocity are on the same. It's just Johnny who's pulling ahead, but is he pulling it like? Is the power score equal to holdability?
I don't know. I mean, Lucy's build is pretty solid, and now she has Starcaller with the double Arc of Justice. While, I mean, sure, Atrocity's good on wave 20, but is this kind of build any good on 21? I'm not sure.
Drakir with the heavy pyro.
Yep.
I wonder, is there like a spot where you just against pyros just spam the honey bear and the honey bears just die and just heal the...
Oh, maybe, yeah. We might see some honey bear sends coming out here on 21 now. That's not a bad shout at all.
There's the shamans, of course. There's the needlers from Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
What is Atrocity gonna do?
Needless to say, here come the needlers.
Oh, Johnny, Atrocity also goes for needlers. And there's the honey bear. We're gonna see more of that.
Yeah, we've got at least one of them coming out. Meanwhile, Drakir and Lucy, they do save their Mythium here. Will this gamble pay off, Skovtrold? Remember, they're also on a 100% fully upgraded king, so they can afford to leak small here.
And Drakir is... Oh, they're gonna be quite far undervalue.
Drakir's 700 undervalue, but it's still grey value because, you know, 700 as a percentage of 10k is not too much. Lucy, meanwhile, she's a little bit further undervalue, and the sends they're receiving are pretty large.
Atrocity kicking up to... It's gonna reach 280. It's gonna be a brood or a... It's gonna be a brood.
So only one honey bear here. It's gonna die pretty quickly. So it will heal a lot of that AoE from the pyros.
But does it die before the boss?
It does not, but it's still going to heal the wave, right? Yeah, there we go. 200 health on the wave. Lucy, I mean, Lucy's going to leak decently, I think, but Drakir's just doing phenomenally well here. His DK's still alive and kicking out those clones like no tomorrow. Does go down now, but he's only going to leak the send, if anything. Lucy leaks 126%, but it's only 3 wave creeps, and Drakir, meanwhile, is just performing so well here. He's going to full hold.
Wow.
Surely this is game now in favour of Barnes Kieran.
Yeah, they live, and they don't even have to send here because there's no pressure, I think. I mean, no, they don't.
They don't. They're in such a good spot now for Barnes Kieran. That hold from Drakir, absolute miracle stuff, has put them in a really amazing position.
So it needed to be 22 for Johnny and Atrocity, but I don't think...
Well, if it was 22, then it would have been a race, right? And even then, I don't know that Drakir and Lucy would have come off the worst for that.
No, especially not with the king HP difference.
Yeah.
That matters a lot in the end.
I just don't see how Johnny and Atrocity can possibly come back from that Wave 21 hold of Drakir. Honestly, they just have so much less Mythium now. Drakir also has insane value. And
Yeah.
I just don't think that Johnny and Atrocity are going to be able to hold these Wave 23 sends. Sure, they're going to go for big sends of their own, but I don't even know that Drakir is going to leak here.
Johnny C is going for the Honey Bear. Trusty going for the double Shaman.
I would like to see more Honey Bears, honestly, into Drakir. And by the way, Drakir never even hardened on Wave 21, so
No.
he has that here for his Golem. He's got a couple of Mudmen as well. I mean, Drakir is just still on value. Look at this. He's almost exactly on value for Wave 23, which is kind of insane if you think about it.
His value is even better here than it was for 21, so...
Yeah.
I mean, the Pyrus does fall off more and more because how damage reduction works against them, but
And yeah, look at this Drakir, he's just making the wave look like paper, he's melting that stuff. Meanwhile, with the 2500 Mythium send, Johnny C, he has a strong build, but it's just not going to be even close to enough. This will be a massive leak for him. Atrocity 192%, Johnny C 212%, and even though they seem to be in such a good position throughout the mid game, Drakir and Lucy just showing why they are really a tournament favourite here.
and Lucy just coming from behind and now full holding on 23.
Yeah, amazing stuff. Wow, so victory, game number 1 going in favour of Barnes Kieran. That is Drakir and Lucy taking the victory with Chaos and Greed. So remember, they can't play those Masterminds again, guys. That's those taken out of the pool for them. Johnny and Atrocity, obviously, they still have all of their Mastermind options available, so they have a little bit more flexibility coming into game number 2, but they're going to have to mix things up a little bit, I think. If Johnny just goes for the Fiesta again, that might be a bit too predictable for Johnny, and Drakir and Lucy surely will take advantage of that. But, you know, surely we're going to see best of 3, right? There's no way Drakir and Lucy 2-0 them, Scov, right? Right?
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen indeed. And we'll have to see. The lobby is already available. These guys are not messing about. They're keen to get straight into it. I'll say ready when you are. And we should get game number 2 on the way very, very quickly. But this was a super exciting game and a really, really good example of how to play from behind, by the way. So Drakir and Lucy, they were in a rough position going into parts of that mid-game, but with very, very clever like gold shifting and stuff like that, they were able to force sends on their strong waves. They were able to hold when they had perhaps no right doing so, and force Johnny and Atrocity to play a little bit off balance. And we all saw the result. Drakir and Lucy, they take the 1-0 advantage here in the upper bracket. So that kind of gameplay really, really showing the absolute pinnacle, I think, of Nova Cup strategy, and would love to see similar in game number 2, but it has to be the other way around because everybody wants to see game number 3. So Johnny and Atrocity, come on lads, we need to see you come back here in game number 2 and give us a best of 3 series to watch.
I mean, I think because Atrocity and Johnny C were pulling ahead in the mid game, and then they just kind of, I think maybe they fell into like false sense of security. Like they felt they were so far ahead that they basically couldn't do anything wrong. If they just hold on to their Mythium a bit more, and not allow Drakir and Lucy to get these full holds and covers from the sends.
All right. Well, guys, the players themselves are going to be the ones to decide whether we'll see game number 3 or not, because here we go with game number 2. Remember, Drakir and Lucy 1-0 lead, so this is match point if they win here. Johnny and Atrocity, they need to reverse sweep, so let's see, can they pull it off? Let's go.
Johnny on Chaos this time and Atrocity with Greed. And we still have yet to see something out of Drakir and Lucy.
Fiesta from Lucy, okay.
I like it. And is it gonna be Cartel from Drakir? It is.
Oh, Drakir rocking the honey bear statues, by the way. Very, very nice. That's a good statue, actually. That's like maybe the most detailed statue.
Yeah, that's really good. Some really nice blink from the statues, except from for Johnny.
Hmm. But he's got
I
a
mean,
good variety, you know? You
I
gotta
like what
respect
Johnny is
it.
doing. Like just the power mercs up
All
there.
all the mercenaries, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I
Very
mean
cool.
the platinum or is it diamond nightmare out of Atrocities is beautiful, as well as
Hmm.
the Ruby Tempest.
Gotta say, this is a... Oh, it's nice, actually, in like emerald or whatever, but I still prefer the honey bear statue, gotta say. Look at that bad boy.
Yeah.
Alright, guys. Wave number 1 is about to start, so enough focusing on the statues. Let's have a look at the builds. We've got Drakir with the Atom Buckler start. We've got Lucy playing with some Masked Warg nonsense. And we have the classic Gateguard double pack rat for Atrocity. That's a very, very powerful start for him. And a flower opener for Johnny C. So again, will we get to see Honey Bear do its thing into the AoE opener? So Lucy is playing Fiesta. Looks like she's going to be leaking a decent amount to no send here on wave 1.
That just 33.
Yeah, 33. Not terrible, but would have been an absolute demolished by a snail, right?
Yeah, but can you expect it that much that you're gonna snail?
Yeah, true. Oh, we get the double snail coming out from Drakir and Lucy. Atrocity is not sending here on 2. I'd be interested to see if he goes for a post-income robo, which would absolutely decimate Lucy.
Okay, yeah, he's just gonna be able to have it.
No, oh, he does! There's the post-income robo! Okay, let's go! This is getting spicy!
Let's go, Robo. And it's gonna be easy hold for everyone else.
Oh, this is very, very dangerous here. The Robo just shredding that Warg's natural armor. And that's a 64% leak here for Lucy. That's a lot of gold going to the side of Atrocity. Drakir will hold, of course. He's going to be able to cover most of it.
Everything is low, and those atoms have just racked up some mana. Maybe the Robo is going to King, yeah.
Yeah, but very, very minimal King damage.
Let's take him to 98%. So they're basically dead.
Johnny is going for a Robo of his own here into Drakir, but Drakir didn't push too much. Well, I mean, he did go to 6 workers, but he's going to have enough gold to stay fairly close to value, so I think he can do quite well here against the Robo send. Lucy, meanwhile... Well, she's only receiving snails.
The Infiltrator being put down with 4 shurikens.
Yeah, that's going to clear up a lot of the wave. Robo straight on the Atom, actually. That's going to kill Drakir's main damage source very, very quickly. He is going to leak to this Robo send.
Yeah, Robo is pretty good early game.
There we go, 41% there. Lucy is holding against the snail only send, so now it's the Fiesta player's turn to cover. But again, it's a little bit more king damage going in favour of Double Trouble.
And Trusty able to treasure on this time, but still on 5 workers.
Yeah, this is when it becomes, you know, especially when the waves are so long, this is when, like, the pack rat doesn't really pay off too well, because sure, he's getting that treasure hunt value, but also he's 5 workers compared to 7 on Drakir and Johnny, 8 on Lucy, so I just don't think his Mythium gain is quite up to par.
No, and it's starting to show a little bit on the income.
And Johnny going further into AoE, just begging to receive that honey bear.
Yeah, but then you just up the split and nothing's really changed.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah. also like if you go full AoE and then send the honey bear, then everything just. I mean, I guess even full AoE build still gonna have some single target damage.
Yeah. I see you've got some fans in the Twitch chat, by the way, Scovtrold, Gatto Gaming, calling you out as kinda handsome.
Thank you.
I guess you're in there, man.
Unfortunately, yeah,
You can swap numbers after the games, perhaps.
she definitely hit me up. Sad, there's no face cam on right now, so you can't see my intriguing wink.
I always thought you were a bit of a winker. Okay, Lucy receiving the 60 send, but she should be more than fine with that Priestess on 5. Atrocity getting 60 as well, but likewise 400 value, just absolutely chilling. Double pack rat again, so he is at least using those rats to the fullest. I'm just not sure with the length of the waves if that is better than having 9 workers that Drakir and Lucy are chilling with.
Fairly quick wave here, though.
Yeah, this was a quick wave. That's a good point. Alright, Drakir and Lucy are just playing very income heavy here in game 2, it seems. Atrocity and Johnny starting to put a little bit of pressure on at least. Johnny has his 80 Mythium now. Atrocity... Wait, he's going to leak pretty badly, maybe. Okay, he adds the Warg at least, so not as bad as it could have been, but... No, I think he's going to be fine. He's pulling a lot to the left, though.
Walk did go down fairly quickly. We see how the creeps splitting out.
Oh, but now his split tank is just perfect. I think he's going to be completely fine. Never mind.
Well, will he kill this Rocco? Yeah, he does.
Yeah, the Gate Guard's still alive on full HP as well, so he's just chilling.
So now it's Gate Guard with a creep. Oh, so he's going to leak a little bit.
He's going to leak one, right? But
Yeah,
this is perfect because they're saving for a full send here.
Oh, is he killing it?
Oh, he does. Oh, beautiful there for Atrocity. Johnny C, he's already sent 2 brutes. He's easily going to be able to get the 3rd after income, but only because Atrocity did this pro leak here.
Yeah.
And Atrocity actually saving his Mythium, so it seems like he has gone for cringe level 3 after all.
I mean, he's... Oh, he's not... What's he getting? He's not getting anything.
I think he's just continuing to apply pressure, especially because look at this. So Lucy has the Tantrum Hellraiser here. Very, very difficult to leak that build on 7, but actually certainly not invincible on 8 against something like a Mimic, and Atrocity easily has that option available. So Drakir receiving the triple brute here. Now Johnny receives 2 of his own, but I think he's going to do quite well. So let's just focus on Drakir's lane for now, because this triple brute is absolutely decimating Drakir's front line. That entire right side goes down very, very quickly. Slime Army now deceased. The Slimes did get full mana though, so at least not a complete disaster. Still going to be a decent leak. Actually, Johnny with the 50%, that is surprising to me. Drakir leaking just 58, so very similarly sized leaks, though Johnny received 1 less brute. Now, Atrocity, of course, full covering with his 800 value, Lucy doing the same. And here comes that Mimic out of Atrocity, as expected. Lucy, what is your answer? You've got 270 gold here.
And, yeah, Lucy doesn't have any single target damage.
She's selling for the Doomsday, which obviously does give her very good single target damage.
That is single target damage all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to end up split tanking really nicely as well. So, yeah, she's going to change her position from being big trouble to probably being big fine. I mean, still 145 value.
It's still a 240 Mythium send, right? But she's absolutely destroying the left side of the wave. The Mimic hasn't taken focus yet. In fact, it may never take focus. The Mask is lowering the HP on the wave enough that everything can just focus down those wave creeps.
But that's actually good for the send.
Yeah.
Because that means that the Doomsday was on the Swift instead of
on the Mimic. Yeah, true. But still a decent performance there. Lucy at least clearing up most of the wave. The Mimic will continue to snack on all of these little slimes in the mid, so a decent amount of gold farmed there for Atrocity.
That was definitely a nice amount of gold.
Yeah.
On that Mimic.
I would think actually both players are probably quite happy with the way that went. Lucy's happy that she didn't leak too badly to a big send, and Atrocity's happy that he farmed a quite comfortable amount of gold on that Mimic.
Yeah, definitely.
Hundred income send again for Lucy, but this is of course just Atrocity cementing his eco in the game. Don't expect anything out of this. Lucy probably quite happy with that actually because she's looking pretty vulnerable on wave 10.
Yeah, but I think we'll probably see a wave 12 send here
Wait,
out of
her
Atrocity and Johnny.
Millennium actually died very quickly. If this had been a full send, this could have been a decent leak hit from Lucy.
Now the Priestess was just perfectly tanking at the end.
Yeah.
She tanked 1400 damage, which is pretty impressive for a 1000 HP unit.
Yep, not too shabby, not too shabby. And there's full income once again coming out from all of the players. Atrocity, yeah, he gets the Avenger down here. He's going to be completely fine. It looks like he can't quite afford to treasure hunt though, unfortunately.
It's a bit of a icky situation actually out of Johnny, because he has the 2 Sunfangs, but only 1 Howler, so he's not going to be able to stack the boss fully. I guess, okay, it stays between 8 and 9 stacks, so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he has more than enough damage regardless to chew through that bad boy. So easy hold for him, but again, it is against income, right? Lucy does leak here. Oh, that is a juicy Fiesta from Lucy Chan, leaking a very low HP boss to a DT send.
All out and 12 cent from Johnny and Atrocity.
Sorcerer picked up here from Lucy.
That makes sense with the Assyria, right?
Yeah, very good little damage spike for her.
There's what even is that called? The one that just gives 100 gold. Pocket money. Allowance.
Yeah, allowance. Atrocity now playing quite undervalued, but of course that's skewed by the all-out assault being available, and we just have allowance picked up by everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, it does make sense, but I also think that, I mean, I guess there are the walks, but Lucy was looking fairly weak on 12, I'd say.
Now, here we have a bit of an interesting divergence because Drakir and Lucy did save their Mythium past wave 11, while Atrocity and Johnny C went for a full round of Income King. So now, of course, Drakir and Lucy, they're representing much more pressure on the board. Could go into Atrocity and Johnny on 14, perhaps, where Johnny in particular is looking very weak. And they're not really under any pressure themselves at all because of that Income King round of Atrocity and Johnny. So especially with this Doomsday potential for wave 13-14, Lucy's in a very strong spot and able to save. Having said that though, they've both pressed the worker button quite hard here on the side of Barnes Kieran.
Looks like they want to go 13 with that push then. But here's the Millennium.
Yeah, and Atrocity will have the Avenger as well, right? The Sovereign.
Yeah. And that's gonna be really good for 13. And then for 14, there's some wasted damage in the Chieftain. But
a really good tank, because the Chieftain's buffing a Green Devil, so really good Arcane tank for 14.
And the Sovereign is still there.
Yeah, so here comes the 13 send from Drakir and Lucy, but Atrocity and Johnny, as we discussed, they have really good options for this wave. Oh, Atrocity! He needed to send here. Okay, you can sell these 2 units to upgrade his Sovereign, but he needs to do that.
Yeah.
Now, Johnny does get the Doomsday Machine. Is it going to tank too much, though? That's the question.
That is interesting to see here. It's gonna be a 50-50 split, right?
Yeah.
The Copter, and then there is the Lifebinder to keep the Doomsday alive. I think it's gonna be a
This is really
fairly...
important. How much does the Doomsday tank? Oh no, it's tanking everything, Scov. That Buckler didn't take a single creep away, and the Doomsday is dead. That is disastrous for Johnny C. He's going to leak really, really badly now. He needed that thing to stay alive. It was his only source of damage. This is a 67% leak here for Johnny C. We did get that Sovereign out for Atrocity, so not quite disaster territory for him. He's able to clear up most of the wave, but still leaking 43%. Having said that, though, Double Trouble, they did save their Mythium, so now the pressure situation has reversed. Sure, they're going to take a decent chunk of King damage here on wave 13, but Atrocity and Johnny can now plan when they want to pull the trigger on their next big send.
And Drakir and Lucy staying with Descent here, or keeping income up, trying to maintain gold at least in the game.
Now, with this Wave 14 Income King coming out from Drakir and Lucy, I would really like to see a Wave 16 coming out from Atrocity and Johnny. Now, bear with me, because I know Lucy can be very strong on 16 with, like, prepped Hellraisers and the like. But Honeybear, man! Honeybear!
Yeah, and also, are you gonna be prepping... I mean, sure, she has the Assyria for 15, but... not much else. So you're going to be prepping masks for 16 and 15 with that much pressure going on.
Well, I could see either working, honestly. I could see them going with like Krakens on wave 15 into Lucy and Drakir, but I could very easily see them going straight 16 as well. And it looks like they've opted for the cringe.
The income send did just... okay, here they come, because, yeah, the income send meant that there weren't going to be any sends on 15, most likely.
Yeah.
So she knows that she's not under too much pressure. Still goes for the Iron Scale.
Yeah, I think she can't fully disrespect wave 15, I think, because she is minus 700 value, even though she's strong here. So a little bit of a mix and match there from Lucy, going for some tank value with the Badger, but also prepping 2 Hellraisers for next wave as well, which is going to come in very handy.
And I guess even though this Iron Scales is bad typing for 16, you still get so much HP per gold.
Yeah. I mean, they could even go 17 if they want to.
That would be ballsy.
It would be ballsy. Johnny has 1 death cap, so not exactly the perfect wave 16 build. But Atrocity's pretty strong there, and there was another round of Income King, and yes, look, Atrocity and Johnny, they have fully embraced the cringe here, going for an enormous save.
When you see the mask being prepped, and the way it's built, there's going to be at least the 1 Leviathan.
Yeah. Well, the other thing to think about as well, right, is wave 16, even if you're pretty confident you can get big leaks out of your enemy, it's quite hard to one-shot them, especially into AoE builds, because the wave is going to be low HP, right, and the spell will just demolish them on the king. But wave 17, all of a sudden, that's a very different story. It's really easy to one-shot someone on wave 17.
And has quite high one-shot potential. And we also see Deathwish, the Orchid, being built here and buffed, and that's also a dead value, so there's going to be a lot of dead value for 17 because you're prepping for 16.
And here come the sends. We've got double Kraken coming out. Do you know what? I would have absolutely loved for this to be Honeybear spam instead of Kraken with all of those masks on the field, but I'm sure Atrocity knows what he's about. Drakir and Lucy going for a Copium full send of their own, perhaps trying to catch out Atrocity and Johnny C, but they're going to be building their value as well. They're not willing to throw this one by turbo pushing too much. They're still quite far under, actually, having said that, on Atrocity and Johnny C.
Yeah, they are going to be...
Doesn't this Doomsday just die again, the same way it did on wave 13?
This Samurai Soul has been added. It's half square further up and a full square out to the side.
Yeah.
And this is 17 instead of 13, so there's also something about pathing that's different. I think it's gonna be okay, but
Let's
I have
keep
to
eyes.
wait
Oh,
and see.
it's going to be completely fine. Yeah, it tanks actually very, very nicely. But
It's
let's
gonna be
go
tanking
check
the Hermit.
Drakir and Lucy, because these are where the massive sends are. 1200 for Drakir, 1300 for Lucy. Lucy getting absolutely overwhelmed there, but look at the low HP on the wave. Honeybear would have been fantastic. It's 189% for Lucy, it's 176 for Drakir, and we were talking about Wave 17 one-shot potential. I think we are about to see it here, Scovtrold, because these leaks are massive, and yes, double trouble, evening up the scoreline 1-1 in this upper bracket. This feels like a finals, man. This series is intense.
I mean, very likely this is gonna be the final as well.
Right, this was insane, dude. Let's just look at this graph. It's super back and forth, up and down like a roller coaster, all the way until we see this huge spike. End of game, wave 17 going in favour of Atrocity and Johnny C. Really nicely played from those guys. They did, of course, commit the ultimate war crime because they saved from wave 11 to wave 17, which I think might be illegal in certain countries.
But I mean, it's good to see that they learned from their mistakes from game one, right? Because what did they do wrong in game one? They sent too
They
much
sent
and
too
too
early.
often.
They sent too
Yeah.
early. Yeah.
This game, they just kept it in their pants
Yep.
until it was a massive thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a result, they are now tied. So we did say it was going to go to a best of three, guys. That prediction at least has come true. We did have both casters actually calling it in favour of double trouble. So we'll have to see if that's the way it goes, because Drakir and Lucy are certainly not going to go down easily here in game number 3. But at least we have everything to play for. The winner of this game now, guys, is guaranteed their spot in the semi-final tomorrow, in the preferential position as well, because they'll play against the second team from Group A. The loser of this game is not out, however. They'll still get another chance to make it to the semi-finals, but they will have to play that last chance match up against the winner of the other series. But without any further ado, guys, game number 3, let's go.
I'm just thinking now how it must feel to be in the other game going on right now. If it's still going, that is. Knowing that if you lose, you're gonna be up against the loser from this side.
Oh yeah, that's a scary game to go up against.
That's the one hell of a reason to play all you can. If, of course, you had the presence of mind to know what's going on the other side of the bracket.
Yeah, absolutely right. And we do have, in this all-important match, Johnny C, Fiesta God that he is, going in for his trademark mastermind, and Atrocity looks like he's abusing redraw here. Meanwhile, we have Drakir mega-minding into Greed. That's surprising, actually, that he would go for a potentially risky mastermind with the Megamind in this all-important game number 3. Lucy just going for Castle, and again we can see why. There's 3 eco/buff spells here in the game. There's nothing aggressive, and it's that sort of game where Castle really shines.
Yeah, it's a really good Castle game this time around, but let's see when Johnny's playing Fiesta, the waves are going to be long.
Huh.
It might be difficult for Lucy to stay in the game.
He is getting snailed here. He does have the angler added to his Windhawk, but it's a non-tanking angler, so it might still be a leak.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be...
Drakir's going to be completely fine against the snail send.
Yeah, even like with the double hobby, absolutely fine.
Yeah. I mean,
see what
he's
the
just
angler
on
does here.
giga value for Drakir. And this will be a Fiesta for the Fiesta God himself, leaking 5 creeps here.
Oh, it's 5 creeps, damn. This
Yeah.
new path thing makes it impossible to see how many are alive.
I mean, the angler just did 0 damage while the Windhawk was alive, right? Because the Windhawk is already 2-shotting the wave, so the angler literally contributes
Yeah.
nothing. And it didn't tank anything, so it's like, you might as well not have an angler there until the Windhawk dies, and then it's an angler on its own, which can't achieve much.
Yeah. But still, it took it from 67% to 42%. So I think
Mhm.
Johnny's gonna be pretty happy with that.
Yep, and he's full building, expecting the resend
Yeah.
here, which he does receive. In fact, he's
These are
going to
some
hold here. Yeah, he holds here.
these are some tanking electrons.
Oh, and I'm actually kind of surprised that he didn't double snail Drakir here, because he did get enough Mythium to do so, but I suppose the Devilfish is just such a good tank.
And okay, now the Angler is tanking as well. I think if the Windhawk had been fully focused and the Angler hadn't tanked, I think it would have been a small leak. But
Oh, this is just perfect aggro for him, though.
but it's interesting to see that all the three electrons went down, and he's selling one to get a fission, to get an atom.
Mhm.
These skins.
Yeah, it's a nice skin, that one, actually. Very cosmic.
Yeah.
So we have... Actually, the double snail does come out from Lucy. Everybody else is only partially sending here, it looks like. Johnny C should go for a bit of a leak here, I think.
I think the atom is gonna go down.
Yeah, and now the Angler is not split tanking. But these two units taking aggro very, very nicely between them, and the Atom is just living forever. It goes down now, sure, but it really did what it needed to do there. Still a 50% leak there for Johnny C, though. So
Not his,
even with the really nice focus.
Not his usual trademark, just 17% every wave.
Yeah, right. And here we have Lucy with 8 workers on the castle, by the way. She really knows how to make this mastermind work. Drakir is going for a full send into a Atrocity here on 4, but Atrocity has the Cage of Pain. So if this thing gets off 2 casts, the entire wave is gone. It's just a question of whether the Brute can kill it quickly enough.
I don't think it can.
Oh, we have got a triple snail from Atrocity into Lucy, who is playing very low value here, but obviously the gun and the boss is very, very strong. Let's see, the Brute. It looks like it's not going to be enough. There's cast number 2. Wait. Oh, it was enough! The third cast never came out! Even so, it's only a 44% leak there, but that would have been a pretty solid hold, I think. Lucy, meanwhile, she leaks pretty massively against the triple snail, but Johnny leaks as well to the DT, so there is going to be a decent amount of king damage, because Brutes on these early waves, they just shred king HP, right? Meanwhile, Drakir full covering.
It's going to be 10%, 11%, but
yeah,
that's totally fine. What are we doing on workers? Completely even on workers. Income also completely even, as a total of 1 income difference in favor of Drakir and Lucy, but Atrocity has 5 Mythium more than Drakir, so that's about the same.
And we have got a spicy Brute send coming out on 5, but Drakir sniffed it coming, stayed on value, added the Gate Guard. He's going to be completely fine.
Once again,
yeah.
the
absolute juicer of the Seraphim, yeah. Such a good unit.
5. Yeah, it's disgusting, really.
It's so strong in the early game, that Seraphim Devilfish pair. And yeah, he's going to easily hold, it looks like. And maybe... No, the Seraphim is just so good.
Yeah.
Well, Atrocity is not looking phenomenal here, but he's staying on very, very high value, so that should be enough. But it's all about whether his atoms stay alive, right? Because they really are his DPS source for this wave. The casket is just there as a meat shield. Johnny C, meanwhile, he's only receiving a fiend, so he should do quite well. He's even boosting some gold into that, so he should do okay. Let's focus on Atrocity's lane then. Oh, Lucy, the gun does die. This could be dangerous for her. Let's just see if we can capture both Atrocity and Lucy's lanes side by side. Atrocity very easily holding. The atoms did stay alive. 620 value proving to be strong. Meanwhile, Lucy leaking 50% to some snails. Oh dear. Okay, well that's a very good trade for the side of Double Trouble. And more brutes coming out to play. We've got Lucy sending into Johnny C, but he's staying on value. However, this might very well be the Julian school of Fiesta. He's on value with bad units, so he should go for a leak here on wave 7, especially when Lucy adds this Robo, which I'm sure is coming. There it is. Atrocity, he can add a Robo of his own, I think, but probably goes for a Lizard into all of the arcane tanks. In fact, Lucy's just going to hold, right? So let's keep our eyes on Johnny C's lane, receiving the 100 send. He's on value, but again, only really has bad units for the wave. The 2 atoms, they are doing work though. His melee units did keep them alive. Now he snipes the brute as well. Okay.
It's not too bad, I mean, and Fiesta.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to get a decent leak, actually. Those atoms, I guess I just underrated them. 46% leak is okay there, but still, I mean, he's on value and leaking. I guess the fact that he's Fiesta makes it okay. Lucy leaking very, very small to a full send. That's perfect. If that had been Johnny C's leak, he would have been over the moon.
Small king damage again, but irrelevant.
And just more income sends coming out from all of the players. Everybody, it seems, playing for the long game, especially in a lobby like this where we see only eco buff spells available. Everyone just wants to cement their position in the late game, right?
Yeah, that's all it's about. Maybe we're gonna see something mid-game, like 13, 14, 15, something can happen there, but I think it's highly unlikely that anything too exciting is gonna happen.
No. And Atrocity did full send Lucy here, but she's actually playing it pretty safe this time around. She's going to be very, very fine against the 7 snails that come out. So Atrocity may be missing out on potential value there from the king upgrades that he could have sent instead.
Also interesting decision to see the gun and Gargoyles and Green Devil and decide to go for snail spam here.
Not a bad Fiesta leak from Johnny C this time around, but again, when he's playing on value like this, the Fiesta leaks are just not as good as they would be otherwise, you know? Like, if he's minus 150 here and he leaks 40%, then yeah, he's really happy with that. But when he's on grey value and still leaking like that, it's much, much worse for him, I think.
Yeah. Well, his units are a bit better this time around because he has 2 Mudmen. And he also has the 3 infiltrators, which is decent damage here.
Yeah. And he's still incubating that Kingpin, right? So he's going to have that power spike coming out eventually. The danger is that Drakir is just pulling too far ahead. He's on 20 workers now. He's really making the most of this situation.
Yeah.
And another round of Income King, but so far this Income King does seem to be going in favour of Barnes Kieran, at least.
I mean, Drakir is ahead, Lucy is a bit behind.
That's true.
But Lucy is gonna have the big...
She's got the castle power spike, right?
The big castle power spike coming in.
Yeah.
But Atrocity has the redraw for some incredible late game, so...
True.
Both teams have a lot of stuff going for them.
Drakir does go for a full send here on wave 10, and Atrocity's board is looking pretty atrocious on this wave. There's no way that he can hold here, like...
And there's the Kingpin, 80 stacks out of...
80 stacks is pretty respectable, honestly. That's decent.
Yeah. He knows he has to cover here.
Drakir adding the Brute as well, so 180 Mythium send into Atrocity, who has an absolutely garbo build for wave 10, it has to be said.
Yeah, he has like 1 unit that's
Yeah.
really good. Adams, neither here nor there, I think.
And the mole is countering them nicely as well. So yeah, this is a pretty decently sized leak here from Atrocity, despite him being on value for the wave. That's 61%. Now, sure, Johnny's going to be able to cover that. They're not going to take any king damage. But it's just long waves while Drakir's sitting happy on 24 workers.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, Drakir is ahead, Lucy's behind, Atrocity and Johnny in the middle. It's not that big of a worker difference until now, where Lucy is pulling up and ahead of the other team. So now we're really gonna see the workers playing the worker difference paying dividend.
This is a nice Starcaller hero circle for Atrocity, because he can add a couple of sovereigns as well, which do use the mana pretty nicely, I think.
Yeah, especially with the damage reduction.
Yeah, with the hero as well, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, more Income King coming out. This has been a very, very eco-heavy lobby so far. And Lucy really kind of dragging down the power score right now. But remember, she did the same in game number 1, guys. And who came out on top in that one? Do you remember?
It was Lucy. And also, maybe Lucy is keeping Drakir from being on a shutdown. I don't know.
Yeah, right. It's all tactical. Lucy just preventing Drakir from going on shutdown, despite his massive worker lead.
And you can be behind at 11 as Castle and be fine.
Yeah. And Lucy, who was pretty far behind in terms of income through the early game, is now ahead of both of her opponents. Also ahead in workers. Yeah.
It's gonna be a difficult one for Atrocity and Johnny here. I don't think the 52-48% is completely true.
Yeah.
I mean, this is of course just small differences between the teams, but that is what determines games. But of course, if Drakir or Atrocity and Johnny can pull off like 11 to 15 and do something with that.
Yeah, I don't expect to see anybody sending here on 13. And in fact, no, they do not. So Lucy shifted gold for her Phoenix. Johnny C shifted gold for his Doomsday. He needs to protect that, though. Yeah, okay, he sells his lower split and evens it out, so he's going to be completely fine. Atrocity actually has quite ugly gold here. 180, I suppose he can just take the violet, right?
Or maybe he just... Yeah. Oh, he does take the violet.
Takes the violet.
Interesting that he doesn't just shift.
Yeah, or put 100 gold on the casket or something like that.
Yeah.
But he should be fine. He can still get that Sovereign upgraded next wave. Puts him in a pretty nice position. Drakir and Lucy's values are starting to look a bit sus. They are going for a full send here. Hopefully Atrocity and Johnny C make the read and match it.
Are they gonna pull another one of their...
They're gonna save. Okay. I mean, they have got a fully upgraded king, right? Well, they need 2 more attacks. I'd at least like to see them do the 2 attacks.
Yeah, but now there's a Millennium to the Doomsday.
Yeah. I wonder if he'll harden here.
Not the best of tank values here, but oh, there's another Mudman.
Oh, he does harden. Yeah, okay. So they are expecting the send here.
Yeah, and the boost on the infiltrators.
Yep.
Not the biggest difference in the world, but every little bit counts.
Okie dokie, here we go. We've got the 600 Mythium Sends coming out for both Atrocity and Johnny C. His Doomsday's tanking really, really nicely, though. Look at this thing over here. He's even managing to use his Lord of Death for Arcane Armor value, which is honestly the best he could hope for. It even gets another summon.
It gets the summon. That is incredible. And the Drake is going to stay alive. Well, okay.
And get one more kill. 60% leak there for Johnny C. And Atrocity just barely kills that pack leader as well. So, I mean, sure, they leaked, but this
Yeah,
is
but
pretty good for them, I think.
I think they're happy with this.
Yeah.
If you get a full send on 14 with like fairly decent, like from 11 to 14, and you only leak a total of 150%. Like, look, they just dropped to 66%.
Yeah.
And now they're in the driver's seat, I would say.
Well, this is starting to look quite similar to Game 2, right? Where
Yeah.
they accepted the leak on one of the earlier waves so that they could continue to save their Mythium and eventually one-shot Drakir and Lucy on wave 17. Now,
Drakir and Lucy are looking better for, like, it's not going to be 16 because 16 doesn't have one-shot potential. 17, starting to see the bunks, the trees coming out of Drakir.
yeah, it has to be 16 this time, right? Surely.
I mean, yeah, it has to be. Yeah, for what they have, it has to be.
Yeah.
You cannot go for the one-shot. They have to just hope that what they do will pull them enough ahead.
The other thing that's worth pointing out is that this time around, Drakir and Lucy are not falling into that income king trap, right? So they're still representing a decent amount of pressure onto Atrocity and Johnny C, so those guys can't just go wild with workers, and they can't just continue saving until Legion TD3.
And here comes 16.
Yeah. Here
That's
comes
pretty
16. Both sides sending full here on 16. Obviously, the send coming out from Atrocity and Johnny C is much larger, but Drakir just going for this pyro pivot, that is going to be
Drakir sells
devastating.
everything.
Yeah. 5 pyros when he already has pretty decent tank value, that's going to melt the wave. And Lucy with the triple Vulcan cannon with Hero and Phoenix. I think she's just going to do really well as well, you know?
Yeah, and you can see the power scores as well. It's getting a bit desperate for Johnny and Atrocity here.
Yep. Okay, so mega sends all around. Drakir and Lucy, they're receiving double the sends compared to Atrocity and Johnny, but they also have significantly more value, so we'll have to see how it works out. And actually, the Pyros in Drakir's lane did get overwhelmed, so I guess he didn't quite have the tank value to keep him alive. And that's 117% leak for him. Lucy's doing phenomenally well, though. She's going to kill this Centaur. Is it just a hold? The Four Eyes, I don't think it wins this 1v1.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
That's a huge hold from FC Lucy. Clap, 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 clap. Meanwhile, Johnny C does get a very nice Fiesta there against the full send, and the DPS Kraken makes it past Atrocity as well. Absolute dream hold from Lucy.
That's why you start to be happy for the DPS Kraken when it lives with 300 HP, right?
And it gives you a ton of gold. Like it doesn't do much king damage at all, but that's a lot of gold that Drakir just gained from a 1 HP Kraken.
Yeah, but...
And remember this power score, guys. FC Lucy was miles behind on wave 11. She's now second place, 75 gold shutdown, and Drakir even higher. So Drakir and Lucy, they really have cemented their mid to late game here. They're now in a really strong position as we go into the ultra late game.
Now we're gonna see 19 here. It kind of looks like people are preparing for that. Like we see out of Johnny, he's even upgrading golems even though they're recovering.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's no danger here. And yeah, there's Hades here, there's Hades there. There's Arc of Justice here, so 18 is not looking that that plausible.
And
ooh, but Atrocity, he's not looking like he's holding, I'd say.
I think he's going to be okay. There's only 3 creeps there. He's going to get another 2 summons here. Yeah, he's chilling.
The Drake's tanking before the crab.
He shifted a bit of gold here as well, but not very much, honestly.
They have more workers. This is paying in their favor.
Yeah. Oh, they go for a send, though. Oh, no. Lucy shifted a lot of gold here.
They're going here.
That's unfortunate. Lucy shifted something like 500 gold going into wave 17, so she really successfully baited this send from Atrocity and Johnny C. By the way, during one of the earlier games, I saw someone in chat, I didn't get a chance to answer, they were asking why do players shift their gold here? Well, this is why, guys. So Lucy shifted a ton of gold on wave 17, trying to bait out Ascend on wave 18, where she would be able to add all of that value, and crucially where Drakia is really, really strong. So that's why they shift the gold. They try to bait the other team into sending. This time around, the bait was successful. Let's see if they're able to hold it now, because it's still 1,000 Mythium in both lanes.
It's the age-old Sun Tzu. If you're strong, appear weak.
Yeah.
So they're basically hiding.
Very good quote, actually. Very appropriate. Holy.
We still see...
Oh, that's even a pulverizer on the Arc of Justice there, so it's going to stun this creep now. Yeah. Still a leak on Drakia, but only a very small one, and crucially, Lucy holds with 3 Vulcan cannons still alive. Masterful bait indeed there from FC Lucy. And here comes the counterpunch. Absolutely mammoth wave 19 sends coming out from Drakia and Lucy. Atrocity and Johnny C, they know it's coming. They went for the income send. Will it be enough? Johnny C, he didn't harden on wave 18. He will use his hardened mudmen here, but he's still... Scov, he's still more than 1,000 undervalue, and Atrocity is even worse off here.
Yep. It's gonna be a tough one.
It's gonna be a tough one indeed.
I would like to see this Mudman here. I would like to see it up here
to try and keep the Doomsdays alive. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, because I don't see the electrons being enough.
Yeah.
Maybe
oh, it looks like it was enough. Okay. But yeah, I mean the sends are huge. This is 1,500 Mythium pretty much in both lanes. Decent kite here, making his Starcaller tank the Kraken is pretty nice for him. But yeah, the sends are just too much. The guys are getting overwhelmed. This is a 110% leak for Atrocity. Johnny C is doing really well, but it's just not going to be enough. 77% leak for him. 16 creeps reaching the king on wave 19. Surely that's deadly.
Two Hermits, one is very low, so it's only like 13.
Yeah. But it's still wave 19, man. It's still just shredding the king. GG's come out. Drakia and Lucy, Barnes Kieran. They do tell the casters, no, your predictions are wrong. We're making it through in first position from this Group B. And very, very well deserved indeed. Drakia and Lucy played this series phenomenally well. I have to say, Atrocity and Johnny, they played really well as well. They surely gave them a run for their money. But that bait there from Lucy, forcing the wave 18 send from Atrocity and Johnny C, really showing that she's a master of the mind games, and making this game number 3 easy sailing for Drakia and Lucy. So really well played. We'll look forward to seeing those guys in the semi-finals tomorrow.
Lucy full holding 16 really made the difference, as well as Atrocity barely not killing the Kraken.
Yep. Yeah.
Like if the Kraken goes down, there's 2 creeps instead of 2 creeps and a Kraken.
And it's a lot less gold for Drakia, right? But
yeah, exactly.
But maybe. Yeah, the hold there from Lucy on 16, she receives 1,000 Mythium and she just makes it look easy. In fact, they barely took king damage there on 16 because Lucy held so strong.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that does mean Barnes Kieran, they are the Group B champions. They have the pole position in tomorrow's semi-finals. Atrocity and Johnny, meanwhile, they have to play in the last chance match if they want to make it through to the semis. Do we know who they're playing up against? Let me check, because Get Doofled...
we should.
It looks like Get Doofled got Doofled. They lost 2 games to 1 against Intense and 1M. So the D1C Chasers, they will be playing up against Atrocity and Johnny in that last chance match. So that's going to be a pretty exciting one, guys. But we absolutely need to give our teams a bit of a break. And our casters as well, by the way. So I think we're going to say 10 minutes now before that last chance match. Don't go anywhere, guys. It's going to be an absolute banger. Alright guys, welcome back. We've decided to make it a quick one. It's already been a very long show so far tonight and we still have one series to go. This is the last chance match, remember guys. And we haven't seen this game so far today, have we? Because
No, it
1M
was
1M had to play against Drakir and Lucy in round 1, right?
yeah, it was Atrocity and Johnny versus Doofus and
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
So we have Double Trouble on the left. And we have the Div 1 Seeders on the right. It's a best of 3. And it's the last chance match. So guys, remember, whoever wins this series will make it through to tomorrow's semi-final. And whoever loses here is out of the tournament. They go home with nothing. So this one really is everything to play for. There's no more second chances after this. So it's going to be a pretty exciting one. This is a very decently rated game. So 1M and Intense are both 3k players. However, Atrocity and Johnny C have an absolutely insane 3.4k seed rating, which is very, very juicy for those guys. So I definitely favour Atrocity and Johnny C. But having said that, we saw in the first round of the series of the day that 1M and Intense did beat Drakir and Lucy at least once in their best of 3, right? And we've just seen Drakir and Lucy win against Atrocity and Johnny. So that definitely says to me that Intense and 1M can take a game off these guys, if not the whole series. We'll have to see how this one plays out, guys. It's going to be a pretty exciting one, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
It'll be interesting to see what Intense and 1M20 are gonna pull off, or at least attempt to.
Yep.
Because they must know that they're the underdogs, need to bring something to the table that might be a bit different. So catch Atrocity and Johnny off guard.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I think it's a closer matchup than the Doofus Wackle one was, so they should be able to make these guys sweat a little bit more. And having said that, actually, Doofus and Wackle definitely made them sweat in game number 2 of that series, right?
Yeah. Also, Intense and 1M20 took the first game off of Drakir and Lucy. So
yeah, they did. They did. So I think this could be a pretty exciting matchup. We do have 4 players in the lobby, so we're just waiting for everybody to be ready. And Johnny, apparently Atrocity dropping the info that Johnny and Atrocity are not on voice, so once again just playing with pings and text. Clearly it worked out for him last month with Ashton, because they again played without voice comms and still won the whole series, so impressive that these guys can communicate so well with just pings. And I think we are still waiting for Johnny to get back in here, so we can maybe talk a little bit more about the expected play styles. Now, again, I think we've already talked enough about Johnny C, the Fiesta God, the Chaos God, so we know what masterminds he's going to be looking towards. Atrocity, we've seen play a bunch of different stuff, mainly Greed, but he's also branched into YOLO and things like that as well. Intense and 1M, I don't really have a handle for what kind of masterminds these guys are favouring. Have you checked any of their games, Scofftrold?
No, unfortunately not.
Let me check their series against Drakir and Lucy. So 1M, 1M. The game that they won, they played Greed and Castle. They won there against Drakir's Castle. And then they lost as... Oh, they did play Fiesta Cartel, actually. That one didn't work out for them. And then in the second game, they were Redraw and Lock-In. So actually, they just play everything, it seems. Three games, 3 completely different masterminds, and Drakir and Lucy were abusing that Castle and Chaos pairing, which it seems they really favour actually on the side of Barnes Kieran. So I think it is a very strong mastermind pairing in those eco-focused games, and Drakir and Lucy clearly making the most of that. Now, it looks like Johnny is back and everyone is ready. So, the last chance match, guys, is underway. Now, once again, everything to play for here. Winner makes it through to the semi-final tomorrow. Loser is out of the competition. So, which of these teams is going to make it happen? We've got the Double Trouble on the left, that's Atrocity and Johnny C, up against the Div 1 Seed Chasers, that's Intense and 1M on the right. Which of these teams is going to be victorious here? Let's find out as we go into game number 1.
And this is another defensive late game set of Legion spells with Pulverizer,
Yep.
Investment, and Battle Scars.
And as a result, we see Johnny snap picking Chaos. 1M has the same idea, going for Castle, and Atrocity going for that Greed that he's played quite a lot so far this tournament, it seems.
Let me see what Intense goes for now. He goes for the redraw.
Okay. I mean, redraw is basically Chaos, right? It has the same principle.
Yeah, but you get to, if there's a roll that you really like, you get to keep it.
Yep.
Whereas you have to pay a bit to reroll, and it's getting expensive. They just nerfed it this patch, so.
I mean, it works on the same principle as Chaos in that you're trading a potentially weaker early game for an almost insurmountable late game, right? Because both Chaos and redraw are extremely likely to have very, very strong late game builds if you get to that point of the game.
Definitely. I still think I favor Chaos, but redraw is definitely viable as well.
Mhm.
You see the Castle Dwarf Banker.
Yeah,
Or do we?
that's
Or
like
we
the
do, he
ultimate
just-
greed build. Johnny has an interesting build here. He does get snailed. I don't know because his angler's not tanking anything, right?
Oh, so this is just gonna be. This is gonna be like 50% leak.
This is another situation where the angler's effectively doing 0 damage, but the seedling changes that. He's still leaking, right? So it's not even too small. It's going to be 4 creeps. Yeah, 4 creeps while being on 150 value is not ideal.
Do you think he's Fiesta now? Probably not. But he also know that he'd probably expect the snail on 1, regardless of him being Fiesta or not. Nice ranger here.
Yeah. Yeah, well positioned, should tank a little bit. He is getting the snail send here. He's even full building because he knows he's going to get a resend.
Yeah. It looks like he's Fiesta. Or maybe it doesn't. It's hard to tell when the snail comes out.
Yeah. Alright, everyone is just chilling here against the snail sends, it looks like. Will we see a leak on the banker player?
I think the banker is...
It is
Yeah, the banker's
leaking, right?
leaking.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's pretty good because he's on 170 value. The banker dies against a single snail. Johnny C is very happy with this.
Yeah. But Johnny C also leaked, so it's like...
Yeah.
And Atrocity with the super strong Nightmare Oathbreaker setup.
Mm-hmm. Interestingly positioned there with the Oathbreaker in column 4. It should tank nicely, but this Nightmare needs to tank more than nothing. Really important here. If the Nightmare tanks nothing, the Oathbreaker is just going to get overwhelmed.
Yeah, when the Brute coming out.
Oh, actually the Nightmare tanks really, really well. Imagine me doubting Atrocity's positioning. Still leaking though, right?
Yeah, but there's a Brute on 3.
Yeah.
Leaking, but not terribly. Especially after the
37%
Brood.
is just fine, and Johnny C obviously is able to hold and probably cover everything apart from the Brood. And that's going to
Brood.
stack his Angler as well. Yeah, he
taking a
can
long
just never
time
kill the
here.
Brood. Very long wave, which is nice for the 7 workers of both Atrocity and Intense. And even a little love tap on the king there.
Yeah.
And we get the double brute resend coming out on wave 4. Intense though, he shifted for this flower. He actually had to reroll to try and find a good answer for wave 4, but it looks like he's got one.
1M20 is looking fairly bad here, I'd say. He is 40 value down. He has one good unit for the wave.
Well, the
not
one
like
good
it.
unit is a very good unit though.
That is true.
Oh, Banker only tanking 1. I think he
But,
would have loved that to be like 3 or 4.
That very good unit
Oh,
is...
he's getting ganked. Yeah, that Serpent is dead very, very quickly. This is going to be a decent leak, actually, out of 1M. Can he even get one more? He can, but that's it. That's a 52% leak. And meanwhile... Oh, actually, the triple slime spawn. He's going to be able to clear up both of the chickens as a result.
the Brute is gonna go through, but...
Yeah, but nothing else. And even the Brute is losing a decent amount of HP to all of the slimes.
But there's still a low Brood, full Brood, and 4 chickens.
Yep. So this will be a fair amount of king damage, maybe 10% here on wave 4 for the Div 1
More
seeders.
than 10%, I think. They're going to like 80.
Oh wow, brutes are so dangerous in the early game. Yeah, look at this, 85% remaining, so a decent first blood there going in favour of Double Trouble, which I've just realised I've misspelt. Let me fix that.
We see 2 Robos coming out of Intense.
Yeah, could be pretty dangerous. Now there is a
Yeah.
canopy on the field, but more to the point, Johnny C is just playing on value here. But the Robos are actually very good against everything else on Johnny C's board. And Angler is just, as Bounty Hunter, sorry, is just absolute garbage, right?
I mean, the wave is Pierce, the Robos are magic. Has still a net positive as far as tank value is concerned.
Yeah, the Bounty Hunter's dying relatively quickly. The fact that he has enough value is making this decent for Johnny C, but it's still a 34% leak. It's still like stack potential that's been lost on the Bounty Hunter. It's still long waves. Although actually long waves, maybe not that good when 1M's on 6 workers.
I think Atrocity and Johnny are fairly happy with that 35%.
Yeah, right?
To double to 80 Mythium worth of power.
Yeah.
Power mercs.
Now 1M shifted gold here so that he could build the big wig now on wave 6. Johnny's just going for income sends. 1M's easily going to be able to hold. But these have been some long waves while 1M has been very, very low workers. In fact, Atrocity nearly double the workers of 1M.
And the big wig has died a couple of times, so it's only at just under 4 mana instead of being almost fully stacked. Decent tanking out of the big wig. Still missing a bit. Oh, he has added something to the third file. So those creeps are going to the main line instead of the coiler.
Yeah. So very...
That is very important.
Now, obviously an easy hold here from Intense as well against the no-send. And
Ooh,
here comes that
Atrocity with the
mimic from
Mimic.
Atrocity. Oh, this is dangerous now. 225 gold, what can he build?
Oh, he actually gets 2 treants.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, is the Mimic gonna go to the split?
I think it will go to the split just because this is a melee unit.
Yeah. Oh, what's he doing here? What's he doing?
Oh. I don't know about that fire elemental.
No, I don't think fire is too good. Oh, the Mimic a bit indecisive. Decides to go
Oh.
to the right after all.
The Mimic does snack both of the Peewees and the Treant. This is a lot of gold onto that Mimic, and it's not done yet because here it comes to chew away on the Slime Siren. Gets that one, gets the seed. It's gonna get... Oh, it misses the Fire Elemental, but it's still got all of these Slimes to go. This is a very wealthy Mimic here. What is this? 30 gold on that bad boy, plus a 94% leak on Intense. Man.
Massive.
Yeah, I really preferred Intense's initial build where he went with the double Treant. I think that was much
Yeah.
better than the Fire Elemental.
Yeah, or if he goes for instead of selling a Peewee and going for the fire, just goes for the Rogue Wave.
Yep.
I think the Rogue Wave deals more damage on 7. I mean,
Yeah. And look at
or at
these
least
power scores now, Sculptural, because Atrocity and Johnny C, they're already starting to pull ahead. They've got a really nice worker lead, they've got a really nice income lead. Now, the one saving grace is that 1M is playing Castle here, so he will have that power spike coming up. But if they're so far behind by the time Wave 11 rolls around, that Castle's not going to matter, right?
he's already so far behind.
Yeah.
And there's still more waves to come.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
The castle is just gonna make him almost pull even.
Yeah.
And then there's gonna be all the waves here where he's gonna be behind. So
Now, his big wig at least is farming, so I guess you have to kind of add that to his income in a way. But
That's
even
true, and he
so,
does.
like, he's just so far behind economically with way less workers, way less income. I mean, sure, you're getting 27 gold a wave.
he
But
also
does
has
it-
the bounty hunters, so he has like some hidden economic,
Yeah, true.
but he's going too heavy on it.
Yeah.
He is,
And the other thing is, like, even if you can maybe make a case for his economic situation not being too bad, he just isn't placing any pressure onto Atrocity whatsoever. And as a result, Atrocity is just pulling away with this game. He's on 20 workers here on Wave 9. He's got a really solid income. And Atrocity, meanwhile, he is placing a lot of pressure onto Intense. So he's got 150 Mythium already. And look at Intense's build. He looks really weak on Wave 10.
gonna be an ogre coming out here for Atrocity against Intense.
Yeah,
It looks like it.
he has the 200 Mythium already.
Yeah. Or is he saving it?
No, there's the ogre. There's the ogre. Okay, now we do know that Intense has an answer because he has this Avenger here, but I just don't think it's going to be enough because everything else on his board is absolute garbage. Wave 10.
I mean, he does have the Antler, which is a good tank. He's gonna have a lot of things that's gonna be tanked before the Siren, so the Siren is probably most likely gonna get to full mana.
Yep.
And there are couple of seedlings which might be enough tank value, so the boss doesn't go to the Aquas.
Oh, the ogre's actually getting focused. It's dying quite quickly. I don't think the Avenger... Oh no, the Avenger is on the ogre. Okay, the ogre goes down. That's really good. He's still going to leak, of course, but at least he doesn't lose all of that gold from the ogre. Yeah, 56% is probably the best case scenario here for Intense because his build is just really bad on 10. He gets a massive send, but again, at least he kills that ogre. Will the bigwig go down? That's the next question.
It will.
It needs 2 more hits. No, 8 HP! Oh, that's devastating.
That's massive. That's 27 gold this time. And this is what? Like 8 gold next wave or something like that. So that's 35 gold lost.
Yeah, yeah. 35 gold lost for 8 HP, right?
Yeah.
But having said that, I guess we can still call that lucky, right? Because normally I think Intense is leaking the ogre as well as the boss, and then there's just no chance the bigwig survives.
Yeah.
Atrocity, he's on fire now, 25 gold shut down. Now sure, 1M's Castle Power Spike has just kicked in, but guess what? That's just barely enough to not even bring him in line with Atrocity and Johnny C, right? So he's ahead of his partner now, but Atrocity and Johnny C, they just had such a strong early game. They're in a really, really strong position here.
Yeah, 1M20 went for too much delayed potential. I think you can't be Castle and go Banger and go Angler Bounty Hunter. That's too much delayed power. And Intense leaking 50% here to Mole Hermit and 2 Snails.
Yeah. Really
They
nice
have a
resend there from Atrocity. I feel like this is something he does very well, by the way, is when he gets himself into a nice, strong position, he just doesn't take his foot off the throat of his opponent. He will very often go for these resends, leak them, farm the Burt Gold, make sure his income number keeps going up, all of that good stuff. He definitely
but
knows
he
how to play from ahead.
yeah, except for game one against Drakir and Lucy, because
True,
that's what he did, and that's what bit him in the ass.
true, true.
So you have to play differently according to your opponent's
Uh,
strengths.
we do see a pretty heavy push from both Atrocity and Johnny C. So now their values are starting to look a little bit sus. Intense and 1M might be able to farm those shutdowns.
But next time they're gonna be able to break is 14, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Johnny, he has this Doomsday. We've got a Pulverizer Doppelganger. There's also Fatalizer in Atrocity's lane. So 13, they're just way too strong. I think they certainly can't afford to go there. Ideally, they'd probably want Wave 15, but Wave 14 is looking kind of scary for them as well.
Yeah, 14 is probably gonna be too long to save, especially with the Phoenix showing now. And he had 1M20, he has 160 gold in just Anglers.
Yep.
And then he has another, like, so it's 365 or 325 gold in bounties and Anglers.
And talking of Doomsdays, Atrocity's found one of his very own, so he now has a fantastic answer for 14 as well.
It's gonna go down here, but I don't think he cares.
Yeah.
He knew the send wasn't coming, most likely, because the Pulverizer double is just...
And here come the Wave 14 sends. So we've got the double 4 eyes from Johnny C. That's going to try and kill the Phoenix. But actually, this angler positioning might just pull both 4 eyes away from that Phoenix. Oh, 1M, 1M. They just go for an income send here. Okay. So they're reading that Atrocity and Johnny are both pretty strong here on 14, which clearly, looking at their builds, yeah, they're very, very good here. But they also correctly read that the send is coming and they need as much gold as possible to try and hold.
Interestingly enough, that Atrocity is third on the power score, but still on a shutdown because Intense
Yeah,
is so far behind.
yeah. And the
And
only
Intense,
reason that 1M has been able to come back is because of that castle, right?
yeah, and Intense isn't looking too bad here, but the problem is that this Needler is just gonna stack up so hard.
Yeah.
There goes the Coiler. The Phoenix is doing good.
Yeah, the Phoenix managed to dodge those 4 eyes, so it tanked the left side of the wave perfectly, and as a
It's
result, 1M, he's doing extremely well.
yeah, he's still leaking.
He's still
Oh,
leaking.
he didn't forgot to do that, but also it's just the Needler on the other side.
Yeah. I mean, this
So
is barely any king damage, honestly. Like, the Needler loses all of its stacks before it reaches the king, so it just doesn't do anywhere near as much king damage as you'd expect a 360 Mythian Mercenary to do, and of course 4 eyes just don't do any king damage anymore. So look at that, 19% king damage is all after all is said and done. Intense and 1M, they very cleverly went for the income send there on 14, so they put themselves in as good a position as possible, and at least they've managed to put out Atrocity, right? He's no longer on fire.
that's something. Johnny is doing Johnny things. He's on 3,377 value with 37.7 Mythium per second.
Yeah.
Some nice numbers adding up there.
Yeah, lovely. I wonder when the next send is going to come out. I suppose wave 17?
16 is not good enough to
No,
ensure.
everyone's too high value for 16. Like, they can't really
Yeah.
get enough done there.
Oh, 1M20 is plus 300 here.
Yeah, he is.
He's really high value. Yeah, no sense here. Void Mantis are starting to be built with the MPS boost,
Mhm.
which is really nice for a late game.
Okay, Atrocity's back on fire now. Johnny C, he's raised his shutdown to 75 gold. Their lead is growing. Jules is giving them the 70% edge now to win. Their worker numbers are looking really good. And having said that, they're also on much better value as a team compared to Intense. Like, he's really starting to fall behind. 1M at least is managing to stay more or less even, but he's only doing that by having significantly less workers than Johnny.
Yeah, he is really falling behind there. Intense, trying to keep up in workers, but not gonna be able to. And we see another income send coming out of Intense at least.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good read, but at the same time, you don't win games doing this. You might postpone your loss, but if you never leak your opponents...
I mean, to be fair, they are looking decently strong on 17 with all the. I mean, the stacks aren't that big on these kingpins.
Yeah. I mean, he just needs as much value as possible, right? There's no way he can greed a bounty hunter into this wave 17 send.
No, of course not.
Okay, so we've got the 880 Mythium for Intense, 960 there for 1M, who is killing all of his ranged units with this boosted veteran. Oh no! I think he must have boosted a Peewee in the split, and as a result, all of his ranged units just get one shot. That's a big misstep for him. Let's check out Intense. He's minus 700 value. He's clearing a lot of the wave, but it's just not going to be enough. That is a 129% leak for 1M, 126% for Intense. There's a chance they survive here, actually, which is crazy with those size of leaks, but they're going to be so far behind.
I don't think it's game here, definitively, but it is all but over.
Yeah, they're postponing the inevitable, right? Like, they went for that income send, which again was a good read, but they have 12% King HP. They're on insane shutdowns on the other team, 175 gold, 150 gold. They're just so far behind. Intense and 1M, they are praying for a miracle here in game number 1.
5% chance of winning, according to Jules. And look at these, like Johnny, he has the MPS for his Doomsdays. He has a Hades that is being buffed, as well as Halos by the Tempest.
Yeah.
He has so much going for him with his Chaos. And Atrocity just building up those Doomsdays as well.
And they just have absolutely insurmountable values, right? So Intense and 1M, I mean, they're kind of baiting here on wave 18, but really Intense just is out of the game.
Yeah.
And is it really a bait? Because they look super weak on 19, or at least Intense does.
I mean, it's Intense.
He might be leaking to no send here.
He's leaking here.
He just has no damage. He just has absolutely no damage. Yeah. There we go. That's a 50% leak to no send. So, I mean, I guess that's a successful bait.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I guess they can have queued up things. Oh, here comes the Krakens.
Here comes the send. I just don't see them surviving this. Like, 1M...
No.
Well, for starters, he's minus 1,000 value even after he full builds. So I just don't think he's going to hold. But even if he does hold, Intense is going to leak everything here.
He's 1,700 value down.
Yeah.
Sure, he adds a red eye and a great boar, but what will it matter? He doesn't have any damage.
Yeah. So sure, like, again, congratulations, guys. You baited your opponent to send here on 19, but you're just not going to survive. You got to respect the hustle, though. Like, they know they need to try and do something.
Yeah. Like, they're trying to play to some out here. The only thing it's gonna get them though is out of the game.
Yep. The 1060 send into Intense is just going to absolutely overwhelm him. Let's keep eyes on 1M, see if he can pull off a miracle hold. But like I said, even if he does, I think he's just not covering his teammates' league.
The Void Mantis are doing a great job. Like
Yeah,
they
they
have so
are.
much damage, and they're reducing the toads by 50% HP. So
Yeah.
like,
But this is a
It's-
67% leak for Intense.
oh, it's actually, but
1M is
1M2-0.
holding with a decent bit of value alive. There's 8 creeps in the mid. He needs to kill a few of them because they still have only 29% king HP. He's killed 2. Can he get a third? He can, but barely. Still 5 creeps reaching the king. They're dropping low. Oh, it's
They are
close.
Living.
It's
Are
no,
they-
they're not.
No.
Oh, heartbreaking.
Oh well.
I mean, look, it was an absolute Hail Mary, right? They
Yeah.
needed a miracle, and they nearly had one. But even then, Skov, even if they survive on 1 king HP, right? Their opponents still have more than 1,000 value than them each, and they have 15 more
More
workers each, and they have 300 more income each. Like, even if
Yeah,
this
and-
Hail Mary works on 19 and they survive, it's still so hard for them to close out the game.
Yeah, they need to then undercut them somehow, because they cannot, like, if it's a full send versus a full send, they can leak, like, they know what they're holding, and they just need to leak 1 creep basically
Yeah,
in any scenario.
yeah. Like a race situation basically only ever goes
Yeah, yeah.
one way in that position, right? Because
Yeah.
you need to do
100
100% king HP and they need to do 1% king HP.
Yeah. I mean, sure, it'll be 10-15% king HP at the time.
Yeah,
but
with the regen, of course. Yeah. But
It-
I mean, man, okay, that was a really clutch game there, game number 1. That was a pretty fun one to watch. So that is a 1-0 advantage in favour of Double Trouble. However, that is chaos off the table now for Johnny C. So maybe expect to see him go into that Fiesta. But at this point, that's probably quite telegraphed, right? So if he does go for Fiesta, he's almost certainly going to get snailed now in game number 2, I would think.
But then he just knows that he's gonna get snailed.
Well, yeah, exactly. So he is Fiesta God Johnny C. He can play around that. He can play around the fact that he's going to receive a snail and make sure he still leaks very, very small to that. But really interesting. And do you know what? Intense and 1M, they played really well from a bad situation in that game. They were really far behind. They threw a Hail Mary. They knew they had to play for this like 1% odds to try and come back into the game. And it almost worked. Almost.
Yeah.
But not quite.
I think the play here is to go for like no send 1, no send 2 against Johnny, and then brood on 3,
Oh, spicy.
or like something like that, because you have to out mind game him somehow.
Yeah, yeah. But again, it's Johnny C, right? So if you try and
Yeah.
out mind game him, he's already living in your head, man. It's not possible.
But actually, what you have to do is don't send on 1, don't send on 2, and then just income 3, because
Yeah.
then he expects the brood, and then he just full holes, and you have only really lost income from like the 6 income from wave,
From wave 2. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see. That's not a bad shout, honestly. All right, we're waiting for the players now. It looks like everybody's ready. Okay,
Yes,
so this is a 1-0 lead for Double Trouble. That means Div 1 Cedars, they have exactly 1 chance now to stay in the game. It's match point in favour of Double Trouble, so if they drop 1 more game, they're out of the tournament. Everything to play for. Let's see how well these guys play under pressure as we go into game number 2. I always
love
kind of finish my spiel too early and forget that Johnny C has the slowest loading PC in the entire Legion community.
But then we get to talk about his tagline, which he's had all this time with
The
as
Honey Bear Cup. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very good tagline, although apparently it has proved untrue because I think we've only seen 1 or 2 so far and they haven't really done anything.
They have done not at all.
Yeah. All right,
And-
here's that Fiesta pickup from Johnny C. But 1M, That's a good read, man. So knowing that Johnny C's playing Fiesta, he's picked Fiesta into the Fiesta. And we always
Yeah.
like to say that when there's a double Fiesta game, the player sending into the other Fiesta generally has the advantage.
And it's YOLO versus Cartel. So can Atrocity get a good YOLO roll? And
It looks pretty solid, honestly, that YOLO roll.
is he gonna go Growl into Egg? I don't think it, but could be funny.
No, there's no way he eggs, right, with a Fiesta teammate?
No,
Surely.
No. No, that would be bad.
Yeah. But he's got a very playable, like, early game with Double Tempest or whatever. Hey,
Yeah.
looks like he actually is going for the egg, okay.
Interesting.
Oh, but Johnny C is very much not playing to leak here.
No, he knows that he's most likely getting a snail.
Yeah. Well, thing is, 1M's not going to give him a choice. So even though Johnny C is going to hold here for the fast wave with his Egg-Sack teammate, 1M is going to leak on their behalf. So the 2 workers for Atrocity is going to be a little bit painful.
Yeah. And then there's the flower to catch the leaks as well. And the flower is really good at killing 12 creeps. It kills 2 creeps at the same speed though.
What? And 1M only leaking 3 instead of 2, so clearly Johnny C would have leaked 2 there.
Of course.
Yeah, very, very long wave for the 2 workers of Atrocity while 1M's chilling on 6. Oh, but that snail perfectly giving Johnny the 5th worker. That actually matters.
Oh yeah. So
Oh, not just the snail, by the way. The snail and the fact that 1M leaked 3 creeps instead of 2.
Yeah, because the snail doesn't give the I guess because it's Fiesta as well, so it has
Yeah.
gold.
So if 1M had only leaked 2 creeps, then Johnny would still be sat on 4 workers. That's it matters. It's like 3 Mythium that he's gained from that. Here's the Egg-Sack. I wonder if Atrocity pushes. He doesn't. He's playing to hold it. Oh, 1M will hold here, unfortunately. The bazooka proving too much. He does get the brute out. He will be able to add... Oh, no, he won't. Oh, no, he will. He will. He can add the snail as well. This unit's pretty good on wave 3 when you drop it with the full 20% buff.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any kind of AoE to bring the creeps in 2-shot waves, so the Nightmare is gonna have significantly reduced damage here.
Yeah, we do get the Robo sent into the egg as well, but Atrocity has 410 value. The Bone Warriors are pretty much useless though, so they just die. And it looks like it will be a leak out of Johnny C, right? The Brute just overwhelming him, even with the 20% buffed, exactly as you said, Scofftroll. That's a 53% leak on him, and Atrocity just barely holds, but I don't think he's going to be ready for round 2. The Tempest will tank before the egg, and that egg...
And even, like, regardless of it tanks before or after, the egg is dead.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we have a juicy 33% Fiesta there for 1M, and King damage on 3, First Blood in favour of the Div 1 Seeders.
And Div 1 Seeders definitely winning this early game.
Yeah. And look at this! 8 workers on Intense!
And
on 1M! Nice, man.
That's 16 to 12 workers. And the Hydra is down.
Yeah, down a stack. So Atrocity, who stayed 2 workers for that entire time, getting turbo punished with his egg dying anyway.
He has less than half the income of 1M or Intense.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. And that's with YOLO as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's sitting on 6 more income.
Yeah, true.
In Mythium. But he's still also 2 workers behind.
Oh. 33% to a snail.
Okay, that's something. That maiden making quick work of those low HP
Yeah.
birds.
Now, only income sends coming out from Atrocity and Johnny C, so not expecting to try and leak their opponents here. Which is interesting, actually, because okay, it would be super risky, but double Hermits post-income could have destroyed them.
Not sure when the Pilgrim comes out. Oh, Maiden goes down.
Maiden goes down. Pilgrim is now very nicely split tanking, though. But remember, this is only against an income send, and yeah, he's going to be completely fine, it seems. Obviously,
And I don't think Hermit would have made much of a difference here.
nah, probably right.
Because the Hermit is just so low damage,
Yeah.
so the Pilgrim is still so healthy.
Yeah, everyone's chilling on value anyway, so nothing much to be said about that. And Atrocity and Johnny C have managed to catch up in terms of workers, though, both of them sitting on 10 now, and Atrocity's income is starting to look a lot healthier.
Yeah. And it's gonna be interesting to see how the Jules predictions develops from now on out.
Mm-hmm.
And remember that Intense is gonna have that YOLO, or not the YOLO, the Cartel.
The cartel debuff, yeah, very true, very true. Alright, looks like everyone's just fine against the income king sends. Indeed, yeah. I would maybe have liked to see some aggression onto Atrocity's weak wave 7, wave 8. But I can understand Intense just going for his income as well. He's under pressure.
I mean, Intense saving here, so there might be something coming on 8.
Yep. There's a full income send coming out from Johnny. It is 160 worth of income though, so I can understand why Intense is playing a little bit safer.
Shiny upgrades in the end.
Now, Johnny C has pushed quite aggressively. He's on 12 workers, rocking a cool 96 income as well.
He is also Fiesta, so...
Yeah.
And he's split tanking perfectly.
Yeah, this is really nice aggro for him, actually. Oh, one more heal before the buckler dies. I mean, he's going to be fine against the DT send, right? There's nothing too much to worry about there. And yeah, Intense, now having received the 180 income send, he's able to push the worker button a couple of times. And
Johnny C holding.
he's holding quite nicely while going all the way up to 14 workers. So Johnny C starting to take over the game a little bit. 1M definitely giving him a run for his money, though.
And it's just Turtles coming out of Intense. Which, I mean, are fairly decent into the Tempests.
They're good into the Tempest, but the Canopy obviously is a very good unit on this wave and will kill the Turtles quite quickly as well.
Maybe Dinos would have been better.
Yeah, perhaps. Johnny C is pretty low value here.
What's he doing here, Atrocity? He's getting another...
Yeah, he's maybe expecting a full send even, so he's just trying to maximize his value. He sold off all of his tier 1 Bone Warriors, which of course are just dead value for wave 8, and he turned them into a shroom. Oh, that's a 67% leak to 1M. I mean, sure, he's Fiesta, but that's still way more than he wanted to leak to a single Fiend. I guess. I wasn't watching his lane, but he must have got his Hellraiser killed.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, this is how you want to Fiesta leak, right? Johnny C showing him how it's done. He also received a Fiend, but he leaked 17%, while 1M leaked 67%. I think I know which one did it best.
Yeah, but it's difficult to outperform Johnny with Fiesta.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. 1M's still in a very, very good spot, however. He's leading the pack in terms of income.
He's definitely in a pretty good spot. Problem is, Intense is falling behind as the strongest
He's falling behind
early.
as Cartel, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's
This,
not
if he
ideal.
places the bunk here, it's way too far forward, no? It's going to ruin his split on every other wave. Yeah, look at this. His gun is just in Narnia now.
Yeah, and he'll be struggling to hit ranged units
Yeah,
on ranged waves.
he's going to have an AFK gun for sure. And that banana bunk is, you know, if you do that with a tier 1, it's fine. It's whatever, you sell it. You do it with a banana bunk, that thing's there for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
What? Atrocity, adding the brute, 46%, but 1M, I think he's probably pretty happy with that. Oh, Johnny C taking the lead for the first time this game, though 1M has been knocked off of his perch at the top spot. Atrocity and Johnny C, they will go for another round of income here on wave 10. 1M, they have decided to turn on the cringers, though. And I can
Johnny
see why,
deciding
actually. There's two good aggressive spells.
Yeah. Johnny didn't want to keep the Shadow Dancer here. He preferred to get the APS and the buckler.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't receive anything, even though he's not looking too good. But I guess they were expecting him to maybe go for the Nightmare or the Doppelganger,
Yeah.
and
But
then he is way weaker on 11 if he does that.
I think they just want to threaten him on 11, right, with these aggressive spells. And actually, Johnny's
Yeah.
leaking to no send. So that's a juicy Fiesta for him. Speaking of Fiestas, 1M, that's a much better Fiesta. Do you know why? It's a smaller leak, but mainly because he received a send here. So leaking like so small to a send, perfect Fiesta.
And here comes Pax, Pack, and Dino.
Yeah. And we have counterattack picked up by 1M and snails picked up by Intense. So he's going to be able to get the full 8 snails out there. He might even be able to add a robo as well for good measure. Meanwhile, Johnny C, he's going to be building this Shadow Dancer on the APS. Pretty good value, but at the same time, all of those units that kind of... the infinite spawning units... They rely on time, right? And sometimes if you just get overwhelmed because you're getting a massive, massive send, those units can just die before they provide any kind of value.
Yeah, I mean it's in the tankiest position, or the last.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It'll take damage the last.
Yeah.
And
1N
problem
is
is-
very low value, but he's also receiving a Cannoneer and King up, so he should be fine. These are some pretty big, scary sends for Atrocity and Johnny C, though. Let's have a look. Johnny C is reaching the wave quickly. His Boom Tree is going to do a ton of damage when that thing goes off. There it goes. But his Shadow Dancer is gone. That thing is down.
He's fine. He's fine. Like,
Oh,
he
he's
still has
turbo
pilgrims.
fine. 1M
and
leaks
the split's
65%, Atrocity leaks 58%. Johnny C, is he just holding? Minus 350 value. Wow.
Healing his way through
Yeah.
this.
I mean, he has really good units for this wave, right?
He has a pilgrim that has tanked 2600 damage now.
Yeah, that's insane. Meanwhile, 1M, this was their big aggressive play, but they're dropping a ton of King HP, actually. This kind of backfired on them.
Johnny has a pilgrim that took, with the mid wave as well, with the hold in the middle, 3700 damage.
Yeah, that's wild. Let's check that on the... His Tree of Knowledge as well did 4.4k damage. And yeah, here we go. Shadow Dancer nearly tanked 7k. Pilgrim tanked 3.7. The unit has 870 health, guys. That's just how much it perfectly off-tanked while getting healed constantly.
And they did like 3.3k damage
Yeah.
average, those pilgrims. Like, they were doing so well.
Yeah. Now we have Atrocity doing what I said that he does so well. Goes for the throat when he smells blood from his victim. He's going for the full resend here. 8 giant snails, 1 hermit. Let's see if he gets some work done. 1M's value is not looking great, and he has a lot of impact swift units here that are just going to get run over by the wave.
And there's a mantis sniping ranged units in the back.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a pretty big leak here. Atrocity getting giga rewarded. 95% on 1M from a resend. Now his teammate will be able to cover most, if not all of it. But still, this is a lot of Burt going over to Atrocity.
And Atrocity can probably do the same again. Like Johnny is sending, so...
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
There's the giant snails coming out. Now we have got a big send coming out from the Div 1 Seeders as well. Atrocity, he has his Millennium. And Johnny's just buffing a consort for tank value.
I mean, that's natural.
Yeah. And we have the Doomsday placed on the Ocean Templar. He doesn't want to risk it dying too quickly, so he's just going to try and give it as much value as he can there for Atrocity. Alright, 500 sends all around. 1M only receiving 220. He may be able to hold here. He kind of needs to after that disastrous wave 12. Meanwhile, Intense, I mean, he's pretty low value. He's also not fantastic on this wave. It looks like it's going to be a very, very big leak there for Intense. Though Johnny C, he's leaking decently as well, 85% and a shutdown. However, Atrocity, he's doing extremely well there with the Doomsday. Almost full holding the 500 send, but not quite. So decent king damage will come out here on Double Trouble. And a really clutch hold there from 1M. Because if he'd leaked as well, this would have been an absolute disaster for the Div 1 Seeders.
Div 1 Seeders is still gonna come out of this on lower king HP.
Yeah, for sure. 66% left on Double Trouble, though. They needed that king damage. Okay. Well, at least signs of life coming out from Div 1 Seeders. Don't get me wrong, they are behind. Johnny C is in a really, really good spot now. 50 gold shutdown. Really good late game roll as well. But Div 1 Seeders, the fact that they shaved a third of the king HP off of Double Trouble, that means they're at least in with a shot.
Yeah, all of a sudden 16 becomes a threat now. And they aren't looking too good. I mean, here comes the egg out of Atrocity. He stays fairly low workers. He is plus 135 value, which means that he is minus 135 value. But his value is so good.
Yeah. I mean, he's just not scared. And what's more to the point is Johnny C, he's an absolute machine on wave 15, right? So, Intense, he just can't send on 15. It'll be a turbo throw if he does.
Yeah. 1M is, he is going for the YOLO on 16.
Yeah.
Which does make sense. They have to pull something off. They are looking pretty good on 16, I would say.
Oh, he's just suiciding on 1M.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, that's one way to do it, I suppose. But they're just going to be on giga value. Oh, I can see why, though. Intense, he has the death cap, right? So they're just thinking that he's going to be able to cover. Alright, I have a special request from Binaton in the Discord, in the Twitch chat, sorry. So we have to watch this boom tree. We have to watch this boom tree. And boom goes the dynamite. Oh, here we go! Finally, Scobtrolled! Finally, dude! We've been waiting all day for this. It's the Honey Bear spam on 16. Let's go! Now, 1M, he leaks very decently to no send here on 15. They're going to lose quite a lot of king HP.
This is 30% king, 25%
Wow.
king damage going
Yeah,
there.
that could be huge, actually. So I can see why they went for this play. Like, Atrocity's not looking great on 16 at all, and Intense with his death cap is maybe thinking he can just hold. The problem is, this Honey Bear might just ruin all of his hopes and dreams, actually.
And Atrocity's gonna stall long enough.
Yeah, I mean, Atrocity's plus value, right? So, you know.
Yeah, he got the full egg hatching this time. He added
Yeah.
3 king claws here,
Yeah.
which are pretty good units at stalling 16, I would say.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Now, Intense, I mean, he needs to be able to full hold and have enough left to cover, which I just don't think he has. So we see the Honey Bear doing some work, right? This one's going to heal up the wave as well. Yeah, very juicy. A really good counter to Death Caps, actually. And look at this. Intense with 4.2k value and triple Death Cap. He's just leaking 106%, and it's all on full HP. This is Honey Bear really in its, like, key... It's crucial situation, and Atrocity just full holding easily with enough value to cover in the mid. So, yep, very nicely played there for Double Trouble. Clutching game number 2, and they are victorious in this last chance match. That means Atrocity and Johnny C are making it through to tomorrow's semi-finals. Very, very well deserved. Commiserations to 1M and Intense. You played really, really well in this last chance match, but unfortunately Atrocity and Johnny C, they got the better of you this time around. But man, that was an intense series.
That was like a fire two game win for Atrocity and Johnny.
Yeah. I think that's the first game that we've had end in a 2-0, right? Other than the first series, which is a bit more uneven, let's say, in ELO terms.
Yeah.
So all of the other games have been best of 3, which has made it a pretty exciting day number 1 for sure. This one being the exception, 1M and Intense. I mean, they played phenomenally well, no doubts, but...
And they managed to take a game off Drakir and Lucy, so
yeah.
definitely, like, you shouldn't write them off.
No. I mean, we saw that game 3, right? We hopped into cast that game 3 against Drakir and Lucy, so we've definitely seen that they construct their stuff when it comes down to it, but unfortunately, this time around, Atrocity and Johnny C were just that notch ahead, I guess.
Yeah.
But guys, I mean, this has been a pretty pog day number 1, if I say so myself, and that means our day number 2 is going to be super exciting, I think. Let me just check the Group A results, and thank you very much to Cyjin, by the way, who was casting in Group A, so we should have VODs from all of those games as well. So we had from Division, from Group A, we have... Wait, no, Schneider's only shown our side of the bracket, which we already know the results of. So Kusa, Team Kusa, they seem to have made it through. And Rampampam, that's fine, and Pavida, they have made it through. Kusa is Isolde and Dark Quacker. Oh, that's pretty exciting. So the semi-finalists for tomorrow, they will be Barnes Kieran, Drakir and Lucy, Rampampam, Pavida and Fine, Kusa, that's Isolde and Quacker, and then finally, from the match that we've just seen, it will be Double Trouble, Atrocity, and Johnny C. So really, really solid field there, I think, for day number 2. And that's about all we have time for here on the cast today, guys. So massive, massive thank you to my far too handsome co-caster, Skovtrold, who always comes on here and makes me look bad by comparison. But it's a pleasure to have you here nonetheless, my friend.
That's always better being here, and I apologize.
I'll forgive you. I could never stay mad at that face. But guys, this has been an absolute banger of a day 1. I hope you've enjoyed the show. That will be all that we've got time for today. But make sure you are back here tomorrow, because this is going to be a really exciting semi-final.